Close the doors of your mind from all carnal will, all carnal thought, all emotions, all desires and fears. For today is the day of freedom. Today is the day of warning. Today is the day that Yahuwah has made. And we will pay attention. We will give heed. We will shema. That we may be free this year from ourselves, from who we are. Let what you've heard in the beginning abide in you. And if what you've heard from the beginning abides in you, you will be in the Father, the Ab, and you will be in the Son, the Ben. For through him, through them, the Ab and the Ben, man can receive wisdom and kukma, knowledge and understanding, that the illumination of the thoughts in the mind within the frontal lobe, within the center of one's mind, through the formation of the pineal gland to the corpus callosum, through the hypothalamus, down through the vertebrae, down through to the lower spine, down through every cell and every molecule, every proton, electron, neuron, quark, and every atom that vibrates, and all the chromosomes that absorb the aura-like frequency from the sun. That it may vibrate with the bar, the word, with the wisdom and kukma of knowledge and higher thoughts. The higher vibrational frequency may resonate inside of your mind. That you no longer be bound by the words of the lower nature of men, of humans, but to be exalted by the bar, the word of Yahushua Mashiach. To be free, to have liberation from the demonic spirits and the things that keep one bound within their shoulders, within their neck, within their lower back, within their feet, your hands, and the things that you can't do. You can't use your body for the kabod of Yahuwah. Well, today is the day you can be free. Today is the day you can now hike a mountain. Today is the day you can walk by a river. Today is the day you can walk on the shoreline where the sea got its decree. Today is the day where you can now get up and take up your bed and walk and jump in the river and then lift up your hands and say, I live. Today is the day you can receive your sight, that you may see the beauty and the creation of the world, that you may see and take back your life, to take back your life and control of your mind and give it back to the one who made all things, Yahuwah. That every imagination and thought may be righteous continually. That kindness, ahab, joy, peace, patience, meekness, temperance, amunah, forgiveness, mercy, love, compassion may be able to be exemplified in your whole life to every single person you come in contact with, to every man, woman, and child. For when he created all things, everything was good and very good. Everything was good and very good. And through Yahushua's blood, we have redemption. We have redemption through his power. So we acknowledge this Yahuwah who made all 7 Shaby'ay Shamayim, all 7 Shamayim, and all the way past the 7 Shamayim to the 10 Shamayim, even to his throne. And what goes beyond that is none of our business, but his own. And he reveals the secret things unto us, and to our children, and those that are far off, that we may acknowledge and understand him who sits on the throne. That we may put away all our evil thoughts, our evil ways, and our evil understanding, and the evil shepherds, and the evil ra'ah mind, and the evil thoughts that's in our inner being, that was given to us by the spirits and the demons of this world. That we may put away these things and be able to walk in newness of life continually. That the love and ahab that was given, that was for the Son, that we may inherit a baraka by putting him on. For all that are immersed in Yahushua Mashiach have put on Mashiach, Yahushua. We no longer walk according to our carnal desires and wants. We walk according to his word, his debar, for this one body. So this Yom we acknowledge Yahuwah Elohim, who give every thought to every creature on earth, whether it's the fire ant, whether it's the the birds, the flowers, the trees, even the trees that sway in the wind, give praise to him. The one who made the Andes, the Missouri Mountains, the K2 Mountains, the one who made Faroe Islands, the one who made Greenland, the one who established the Appalachian Mountains, the one who gives, the one who takes away, the one who creates the salt sea, and the one who makes the fresh water, Yahuwah Elohim, the one who knows every grain of sand by name, the one who made the galaxies, the star clusters, the constellations, from the constellation of Olmec to the constellation of Betelgeuse, from the constellation of the Pegasus galaxy to the Milky Way galaxy, from Sirius A to Sirius B. Yahuwah Elohim formed it all by the breath of his mouth. When the solar winds blow and move the cosmos, no, that's by his debar that it moves and constructs. And we give all honor and praise to the one who gives us life and can take it away, Yahuwah Elohim. So as we move forward in compassion, humility, forgiveness, mercy, gentleness, meekness, and most of all, love that binds everything in perfect harmony. So this is 2nd Ezra, or Azra, 16:54. It says, "Behold, Yahuwah knoweth all the works of man, or men, Adam, human beings." So he knows every single thing that one does. It says, "Their imaginations, their thoughts, and their heart." So he knows everything that goes on in your mind, all the vaults and things you got hidden within your mind, in the secret parts, in the secret parts of your mind that you have inside of a door that nobody can get through but you. You know the combination. Well, Yahuwah knows your combination to your mind. Verse 55, guess what he did? Which spake but the word. He spoke to the bar, his breath, his word, his Yahushua Mashiach. Let the earth be made, and it was made. Let the Shamayim be made, and it was created. When you look at the 7 Shamayim, and one is able, if Yahuwah allows one to ascend with an escort to the highest one of these Shamayim, you will be able to know that there are more than one. Verse 56, in his word were the stars made, and he knoweth the number of them. So all of the constellations and stars of the cosmos, and all of the apps that one makes, and all these things, you can see all the stars and their names. Well, Yahuwah formed them all. He established them all. Even as the stars of Shamayim, he established them all. He said, he searches the deep and the treasures thereof, verse 57, and have measured the sea and what it containeth. He hath shut the sea in the midst of the waters, and with the word hath he hanged earth upon the waters. Right. So by his debar, he hung the earth, or the alats, or he said that the land on the kug, on the circle of the earth. Right. So you can see and know that he did these things. Yahuwah did it. He spreadeth out the Shamayim like a vault. Upon the waters hath he founded it. It said, in the desert hath he made the springs of water, and pools upon tops of the mountains, that the floods might pour down from the high rock to water the earth. Right? So you start looking at you start thinking about the high places. You think about wanting to water something. What water is more pure than rock, the water that flows from a mountain, and it's more clear? Like I said, today is the day you can actually go see these things and see it for yourself. That Yahuwah made everything and given it to you. It says, verse 61, he made man and put his heart in the midst of the body and gave him breath. He gave him the neshama, the ruach, his creative intellect, the intellectual inspiration of Yahuwah. He breathed it inside of Adam, inside of Ish, inside of man. It says breath of life and understanding. He gave him understanding as well. Yea, the ruach of the Almighty Elohim, which made all things and searches out all the hidden things in the secrets of the earth. Right? So he can search out everything that man can desire to search out. He already did. Verse 63 says, surely he knoweth your inventions. So being that you can't create the 7 Shamayim, you can't search out every single thing on the earth. You don't know every grain of sand by name. You don't know every white cap of the ocean by name. You don't know how the stars were made. You can't make a planet. You can't make Venus, Mars, Mercury. You can't make the Shemesh, Kugabim, and the Yark, let alone make the ethers and protons, electrons, neurons, and atoms, and even the ones that you study you didn't make. Even if you smash them together and you say you made them, you didn't. There's only one who made them. He said, being that he can do all that, he said, surely he knoweth your inventions. He know it all. And what ye think in your mind, even them that sin and would hide their sin. He said, man, surely I know everything. He said, I know you hide in your sin, right? 64, therefore hath Yahuwah exceedingly searched out all your works. He searched them all out. And he will put you all to shame. That means he's going to put everybody on the planet Earth, every human being or animal that may think they know more than him. He said, I'm going to put you all to shame. He said, I'm going to put you all to shame. Right? So this is 2nd Enoch, Canuk 11:1. Right? It says, and those men took me, and they carried me up to the 4th Shamayim, and they showed me there all the movements and sequence of all the rays of the solar and lunar light. So how many people you know has been taken to the 4th Shamayim and showed all the solar and lunar light? Well, Canuk, Enoch did. Right? And it says, and I measured their movements, and I compared their light, and I saw. He's comparing. I say compare and contrast. Yeah, he said the sun has a light 7 times greater than the moon. Right, so when you start looking at these constellations, you start looking at these Shemash, Kugabim, and Yark, which is, some say, only 3,600 miles from the surface of the earth. Some say, and we know that the Yark and the Shemash are the same size. But the sun, the Shemash, shines 7 times brighter than the moon. So, Sirach 23:19 says, such a man only fears the eyes of men. Some people only fear the eyes of men. They fear the public humiliation. They fear, how you say, somebody posting it and knowing something about them. Right? And they're exposing it to people. Some people fear that. Right? Some people fear people putting their dirt on Twitter, on Instagram, or Facebook. Well, he said this, such a man only fear the eyes of men. It says, and knoweth not that the eyes of Yahuwah are 10,000 times brighter than the sun. So you got the sun that's 7 times brighter than the moon. Then you got the eyes of Yahuwah who is 10,000 times brighter than the sun. What you think about that light? He said, surely he know your thoughts. Surely he know. You can stand in the sun and you can allow the sun hit your body, but he can go past that light. That light even, okay, that's too dim. Yahuwah turn it up even brighter, and he'll see even the darkest parts of yourself that you can't even see. He said, guess what he says? Beholding all the ways of Adam, or men, human beings, and considering the most secret parts. Surely he know your thoughts. Surely he know your ways. Surely he know what you're thinking. Surely he know who you are. He know who you are. You can hide in the middle of the mountains, in the middle of the Amazon rainforest. He know where you are. You can hide in a secret pyramid in Antarctica. He know you there. He can see you over there. He know all the things that man tries to hide with the Antarctic Treaty, or all these treaties they try to stop you, and all the flight patterns that man try to keep you in and never allow you to see the truth of this world and what it really is. He know all your thoughts. He know all your ways, and he know all your he know how you think. Right. So this is the Acts of the Apostles. It says, acknowledge of the truth, advantage of knowledge. Right. It says, so we must above all things hasten to the knowledge of the truth. Why? Because surely he know your thoughts and your ways. That as with a light kindleth thereat. Right? We may be able to dispel the darkness of errors. That's all Yahuwah is trying to do. That's why he said, surely I search out your ways and your thoughts. He said, I'm trying to dispel the darkness of errors. That's all I'm doing. For ignorance, right, as we have said, is a great evil. Like I was listening to a conversation. He said, a person randomly, I don't even know him. We had a conversation. He said, ignorance is the most expensive thing. ignorance. It's a great evil. It says, but because it has no substance, it is easily dispelled by those who are earnest. Those who are really earnest, or those who are really serious about seeking the truth. Ignorance is dispelled very quickly. It can only last maybe a second, 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 2 minutes, 5, 10 minutes. Because if they don't know something, they're going to go search out and find the answer really fast. He says, for ignorance is nothing else than not knowing what is good for us. Once know this, ignorance perishes. So if you don't know what's good for us, what's good for the people, what's good for human beings, then guess what? Once you know, then ignorance perishes. You're no longer ignorant anymore. So therefore, the knowledge of the truth ought to be eagerly sought after, so you won't be ignorant, because it's really expensive. It costs a lot of money. Shoot, ignorance will call you to give money to somebody who ain't even speak. Give all your paycheck to somebody, your hard-earned wages to somebody, so they can go fulfill their carnal desires in the world. And they call themselves teachers, evangelists, pastors, leaders, mores, and all these things. You give them all your money. Ignorance will make you do that. When your poor brother ain't got nothing. When your poor sister ain't got nowhere to lay their head. When they ain't got no food, you give all your money to them. You give all your hard-earned wages to them instead of giving it to them. Knowing they need help, knowing they need something, but yet ignorance will make you do that. You say, you see your brother have need, where dwells the love of you who in you? You see he got need and you don't do nothing. No, you got to put it in an offering bucket for a fund for the poor. No, you just give it to him. You need permission for that. But hey, you know what? When you ignorant, that little opportunity that you missed is passed you by. And there it is, a check mark on your name. Because you need permission to do it from a human. So therefore, the knowledge of the truth ought to be eagerly sought after. And no one can confer it except the Nabi or the Nabi of truth. Right? For this is the gate of life. So you start thinking about Yahuwah in sundry times and diverse manners spake in times past by the prophets, the Nabi'im. But now in these last days, he's talking about his son. Why? We're going to get into that. Why? And no one can confer it except the Nabi of truth. For this is the gate of life to those who enter, and the road of good works going to the city of salvation. So if you don't know what's good, you ain't going to know how to do good works. And if you don't know how to do good works, ain't no way you're going to get some salvation. You're not going to go enter into the city. Because that's the whole point of this whole life that we live. It's to enter into eternal life. Eternal life, right? Mashali, Proverbs 24, 3 through 5. By Kukma is a house built. By wisdom is a house is built. And by understanding it is established. So you need Kukma and understanding. This truth has to be eagerly sought after. So ignorance can be dispelled. And errors can be dispelled. So that what? That one can know that your works are true. What you have done is true. It says, by knowledge, he said, by knowledge the rooms are filled with all precious and pleasant riches. So just like you decorate a house, just like you you put a nice bed in the house or some stools, like you decorate it real nice and neat, right? You may want a different style, right? You may want a style like Bali or a style like minimalist or a style like traditional or a style like you decorate it with all these things. The same way you do these carnal things that we see today is the same way you have to decorate your house on the inside. And you got to do it through wisdom and understanding, because you need wisdom and understanding to decorate a house. You need wisdom and understanding to pick out colors, to pick out ways you want it to look. You need wisdom and understanding to do that. So why desire these things before wisdom and understanding? Because without it, you cannot do these things. It says, a wise man is full of strength, and a man of knowledge enhances his mind. So man, woman, he said, I want to be a strong individual. Well, you gotta be wise, and you have to have knowledge. Why? Because ignorance is very, very, how you say, evil. Yeah. So in light of all that, it says, Ode Shalom, Ode 8, open your hearts to exaltation of Yahuwah, and let your love abound from your heart to your lips. Right, so we look at our mind, we look at our thoughts, right? Let it continue to grow, abound, more and more. In the knowledge of Yahushua Mashiach, let it abound more and more. Why? From the heart, once it gets in your mind, then you start speaking wisdom and understanding out of your lips, not only to yourself, but to others you come in contact with through conversation. And then through that, what happens? Verse 2, in order to bring forth fruits to Yahuwah, Ekadush life, then your life will be a shining like a light. People say, what's wisdom understanding for? Like, you can read the books, you can get all the knowledge, understanding, you can sit with wise men, masters, all these things, but if you can't speak to the person, the people you come in contact with, that Yahuwah puts in your path to give them something, then guess what? You wasted it. It says, and to speak with watchfulness in his light. It says, stand and be established, you who were once brought low. So you humbled yourself with fasting and praying and all these things for maybe 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, all these things. You were brought low. But now he's telling you, be established. You who were once brought low. You did it, right? Verse 4 says, you who were in silence, speak, for your mouth has been opened. He's like, I'm opening your mouth. I'm allowing you to speak. I'm putting people in your path that you can speak to them. Why? Because you were once brought low. Now I'm putting people in your path that you can speak to what you know. It says, verse 5 says, you who were once despised, from henceforth be raised. Now, you've now been despised. You now understand, right? Because you despised wisdom and nurture before, but now you understand, and now he's telling you to be raised. Get up. For your righteousness has been raised. Righteousness exalts a nation. Doing what's right exalts a nation. Exalts a people. Exalts a man. Exalts a woman. You brought low in your evil, and then you raised in righteousness. And now you're exalted. Now you have to exalt that righteousness in doing what's right. Verse 6 says, for the right hand of Yahuwah is with you and will be your helper. So people, I'm afraid to speak. I'm afraid to do this. I'm afraid to do that. Well, then understand that the right hand of Yahuwah is with you. And he will be your helper. You say, oh man, right? I'm afraid. When he says, verse 7 says, it says, and Shalom was prepared for you before what may be your war. You already had this peace, this understanding, this wisdom and understanding and knowledge before what is your war today. Because the carnal man, demons and spirits and all the things that are around don't want. It's a war for peace, for wisdom and all understanding. When you start doing these things, he said Shalom was already prepared for you. It was already here. It was already here. So this is wisdom of Solomon, Kukmashi Shalom 6:12-25. It says, wisdom is glorious and never fadeth away. Yea, she is easily seen of them that love her, and found of such as seek. It's easily. People that love and that seek eagerly, Kukma is right there. And it's kabod. And it never fadeth away. Guess what it says? She prevented them that desire her, in making herself first known unto them. Why? Because Kukma, wisdom, when you want wisdom and understanding, you seek after it. So why would I make it easy for somebody? When it's something that to be attained. It's like a person we run around a track, right? You run around a track over and over again in a circle, right? But then you stop running. Why? He's like, man, if that was wisdom you was chasing, you would continue to run if you really were seeking eagerly after it. You wouldn't stop running. You would keep running. Why? Because it's not something you ain't gonna get. It's not something gonna happen easily. Right? Verse 14 says, whoso seeketh her early shall have no great travail. For he shall find her sitting at his doors. Right? So you start looking at what time are you getting up? Like we talk about the morning sacrifice. Yahuwah said, I'm going to meet you there in that sacrifice in the morning, as we spoke about during Kafar. Atonement. He said, I'm going to meet you there in that sacrifice in the morning. He said, when you up, I'm up. He said, I'm going to meet you there. He said, you bring your lamb, 2 lambs, but we know who the lamb is. He said, man, I'll meet you right there. What time are you getting up? He said, there's a lot to learn. Right? Verse 15, to think there upon her is perfection of wisdom, kukma. Think. Like you say, what are our thoughts? He said, surely he know your thoughts. But if you're thinking on wisdom and knowledge and understanding, you're always thinking on Yahuwah, right? So thinking on the higher ethers, the higher understanding, the higher vibrational frequency, that knowledge. And whoso watches for her shall quickly be without care. Verse 16, she goeth about seeking such as are worthy of her, showeth her favorably unto them in the ways, and meeteth them in every thought. Is wisdom, kukma, meeting you in every thought? Is the word, the bar, wisdom, understanding, meeting you in every thought? Or is the demons getting in there sometimes? Or Satan? Because, if you ain't quick to cast down imaginations, then Satan be like, you having a party, right? How you say a conversation. A conversation can turn into something real, real sinister. Just a little conversation. If you say a conversation, yes, a conversation, especially if you're chosen, a conversation can turn into something. Right? It says, Mashali, Proverbs 8 through 11 says, all the words of my mouth are righteous, and there's nothing twisted or crooked in them. Ain't nothing twisted or crooked in them. They are all straight to him who understands. So if you have an understanding and wisdom, you should understand this. And right to those who find knowledge, those who seek after knowledge, those who have love and that seek eagerly. He said, man, this is easy. They take my instructions instead of silver, and knowledge rather than gold, rather than the archon gold, rather than archon silver, rather than the Dows and the Dow Industrials and the S&P and the copper charts and all the things that man put a price tag on, and the other beings and the demons put a price tag on, so you can be under their control, so you can feel proud of life, so you can feel like you're wealthy. But true wealth is within. Right? It says, for wisdom is better than jewels, and all that you may desire cannot compare with. So you start thinking about wisdom and kukma. It's nothing you desire can compare with it. Like we always talk about, don't put wisdom and understanding and knowledge above. Well, put it above everything, and don't put the gold, silver, and other things above that. And don't put gold and silver and money and things in the world above a human being. Don't do that. Because you weren't designed to be one with those things. You were designed to be one with Yahuwah, his word, and designed to be one with others. Not with those things. Right? So the word for crooked is Akish or Ikesh. So it means distorted, false, crooked, forward, perverse. None of the words of Yahuwah are distorted, false, crooked, forward, or perverse. Not one word he says. Yeah, surely he knows your thoughts. His words are perfect. You think about how Tamim his words are. He created the 7 Shamayim in the universe, in the star cluster, and the asteroid belt. All the things that people be studying, he did that. He formed the wormholes in the galaxies, the portals. He did that. It says word for straight is nakuak, straightforward, equitable, correct, integrity, uprightness. Right? Straight. All the words he said all the words that he speaks, they're all straight. They are straightforward, equitable, correct, integrity, uprightness. They are make you innocent. Innocent until proven guilty. He said, we're all guilty. He searched out all our thoughts. We're all guilty. We know it. We already know we're guilty. So guess what? Let's take the straightforward, equitable, correct, innocent, integrity word that he gives. Because it's straightforward and it makes us innocent. Let's take that and let the light and the aura and the illumination inside of the mind open our hearts to the exaltation of Yahuwah. Right? So the book of Psalms, Tahlim 1:11 and 10 says the fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom, and all those who practice it, we practice these things. Practice the fear of Yahuwah. Have a good understanding. His praise endureth forever. So your practice that you do every day, I'm practicing to keep my mind away from certain thoughts. I'm practicing to keep my mind away from certain actions. I'm practicing to keep my mind in a loving, caring, compassionate, merciful mind. You have to practice it. It don't just stay be like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna skip practice today. I ain't gonna be compassionate, mercy, loving, and forgiving today. So therefore you skip practice today. Like Allen Iverson say, we're talking about practice, right? I'm not going to have kindness, ahab, or love, and joy, and patience, and meekness, temperance, and moodness today. You know, I'm going to skip practice today. I'm going to skip practice. Because usually when you skip practice or you don't want to practice, you start doing one thing. You start mumbling, grumbling, and complaining about why you don't want to practice today. I know when you play sports, when you have a hard practice one day, you be like, man, I practiced hard yesterday. Okay, let's practice hard and good today. You was like, nah, I don't want to do it today. You start complaining. I don't want to do it. My legs hurt. My back hurt. My arms hurt. Because one is, how you say, not practicing the fear of Yahuwah. So this is Wisdom of Solomon, Kukumosli Shaluma 7:6-14. So for all men have one entrance into light, and the light going out. Right? So everybody has one entrance and the light going out. Wherefore I prayed, and understanding was given to me. I called upon all Yahuwah, and the Ruach of wisdom came to me. Right? So who praying? What you praying about? He said, I preferred wisdom, her, before scepters and thrones, before a seat on the United Nations, a mayor, a courthouse jester, a courtroom judge. I desired it more than these things. Premonition, scepters, and thrones. I desired it more than a household, ruling over a household, a wife or children. A woman ruling over children. I desired it more than all these things. Why? He said, and esteeming riches is nothing in comparison to her. So riches too. He said, all riches. Yeah, I desired it more than that. Neither compare I her unto any precious stone. He said, I'll never compare it. Why? Because all gold in respect to wisdom or her is as little sand. It's so small, it's speck. Gold, silver, money, infinite riches and money, that's nothing. How did it come to be? It says, and silver is counted as clay before her, because that's where it comes from. I said, I loved wisdom or her above health and beauty, and chose to have her instead of light. Or, before you talking about the light, you've seen it come out of the 6th portal. Or you mean the sun that's 7 times brighter than the moon? He said, I desire her more than the Shemesh. For the light that cometh from her never goeth out. Don't you know that Yahuwah is 10,000 times brighter than the sun? It ain't never going out. It says, all things together came to me with her, and innumerable riches in her hand. And I rejoiced in them all, because wisdom goeth before them. And I knew not that she was the mother of them. I learned diligently, and do communicate her liberally. I do not hide her riches. She said, what you hiding for? She said, I'm going to hide my riches. I'm going to hide from people. I'm going to hide from the people that speak to me. I'm going to hide from the people so they won't see me. He said, I'm not hiding the wisdom that I know. Why would you hide that? Why would you hide that? For she is a treasure unto men that never faileth, which they that use become the friends of all Yahuwah. So people say, how you going to get friends? By wisdom. Open your mouth and speak. Say something. Right? Being commended from the gifts that come from learning. What did you learn? He said, I have no gift. I said, you learned something? It comes from learning. That's where it comes from. So wisdom of Shaluma, Kukumosli Shaluma 3:9 13. It says, they that put their trust in Yahuwah shall understand the truth. It's really that simple. Trust in him. And he said, because his right hand is with you. He said, I don't believe Yahuwah's right hand with me. That's why I don't talk. That's why I don't speak. But he said, they that put their trust in Yahuwah understand the truth. And such as be faithful in love shall abide with him. So he said, love. For Khan and mercy is to his Kadashim, and he hath care for his elect. He has care for his elect. But the ungodly shall be punished according to their own imaginations, right? The unrighteous. Why? Their own imaginations, which have neglected the righteous and forsaken Yahuwah. So we say, how do you forsake Yahuwah? Yahushua says, awake thou that sleepest and arise from the dead, and Yahuwah will give light to you. But being that you sleep, he said, Yahuwah has poured upon you the spirit of deep sleep. The eyes you cannot see and ears you cannot hear. That you hear with your ears and understand with your heart, and you be converted and you be healed. Healed from what? Demons. People say, what does he mean by that? We're going to get into that. It says, but the unrighteous shall be punished according to their own imaginations, which they have neglected the righteous and forsaken Yahuwah. For whoso despises wisdom and nurture, he is miserable. He or she is miserable. And their hope is vain. Their labors unfruitful and their works unprofitable. Their wives are foolish. Right? So they got foolish women. And their children wicked. Then the children wicked. And their offspring is cursed. People say, I don't want no cursed children. He said, a woman get pregnant and she despises wisdom and nurture. You're going to have a cursed child. You're going to have a cursed family. You're going to have a cursed life. Right? You see people outside today. You see children stealing. You see people holding people at gunpoint. Right? You see children holding old women at gunpoint because they need a car or another car. Stealing cars. Your children cursed. Your offspring is wicked. Why? Because wisdom and nurture and knowledge and understanding is despised in the world. So this is Sirach 1, 11 through 21. It says, the fear of Yahuwah is honor and kabod and gladness and a crown of rejoicing. That's the fear of Yahuwah. The fear of Yahuwah maketh a merry heart and giveth joy and gladness and long life. Whoso fear of Yahuwah, it shall go well with him. At the last, he shall find favor in the day of his death. People say, I want favor in the day of his death. It's appointed on the men who wants to die, man and woman, and child wants to die. After that, it's judgment. He said, the fear of Yahuwah, you have favor in that day. It says, to fear Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom, and it was created with the faithful in the womb. He said, faithful. Faithful in the womb. You mean faithful in the mind. Right? He said the Ruach is willing, but the flesh is weak. He said, walk according to the Ruach. Because the flesh is weak. Right? It's a weak body. It's a weak thought. It's a weak thing. So he said, walk according to the Ruach. Because it's an energy source. It'll give you energy. It says, verse 15, she hath built it. It says, she hath built an everlasting foundation with men, and she shall continue with their seed. To fear Yahuwah is the fullness of wisdom, and filleth men with her fruits. She filleth all their houses with things desirable, and garners with her increase. The fear of Yahuwah is the crown of wisdom. It says a virtuous woman, what? She says, her mouth speak with kindness, and wisdom come out of her mouth. Ka'il. It says, making peace and perfect health to flourish. Why? Because if you desire more than health and beauty, then guess what? It'll make your shalom and your health to flourish. He said, I'd rather wish of all things that you be in good health, even as your soul prospers. Why? How are you going to allow that to happen? By having wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Then you'll be in good health, even as your soul prosper. Because health and beauty are going to flourish. They be like, man, you look like you in your teens. You look like you a teenager. Man, you look like you. How old are you? Man, I'm 50. Man, you look like you 25. It says, the fear of Yahuwah is a crown of wisdom, and maketh peace and shalom and perfect health to flourish. It says, both which are gifts of Yahuwah. How you get gifts? From learning. And in the largest they're rejoicing that love him. Wisdom raineth down skill and knowledge and understanding, standing and exalted them to honor that hold her fast. You that are once brought low, speak, because your righteousness has been exalted. Yahuwah's right hand is with you. Trust in Yahuwah. He said the root of wisdom is to fear Yahuwah, and the branches thereof are long life. I'm the vine, you are the branches, right? Long life. We're looking for eternal life. The fear of Yahuwah driveth away sins. Or you mean driveth away demons. That's what fear of Yahuwah do. It drives away demons. And where it is present, it turneth away wrath. It turns away the wrath of Yahuwah on your life. It turns away the wrath of Yahuwah on your life, because the demons got to go. Because if you got the demons inside, you following demons and you feeling the desires of demons inside of your body, then guess what happens? Then the wrath of Yahuwah is on your life, and now you are destined for fire. Because the demons are still there. Right? This is Jubilee's Old Testament, Pseudepigrapha, Volume 2, Nuach, Prayer Against the Demons. In the third week of Jubilee, the polluted demons began to lead astray the children of Nuach, the sons, to lead them to folly and to destroy them. That's the whole point of demons and lion spirits and mischievous tongues and demonic ways. They're coming to destroy your life. They're coming to destroy you, the sons, the daughters, the women, the men. They're coming to destroy. It says, and the sons of Nuach came to Nuach, their father, and told them about the demons who were leading astray and binding and killing the grandchildren. And he prayed before Yahuwah Elohim, and he said, all of the spirits which are in all flesh, who acted mercifully with me and saved me and my sons from the water of the flood, and did not let me perish as you did the children of perdition, because great was your grace or your kind upon me, and great was your mercy upon my soul. Let your grace be lifted up upon my sons, and do not let the evil spirits, you mean the sins, because the fear of Yahuwah drives away demons and spirits, then not the evil spirits rule over them. Don't let the evil spirits rule over them. So who ruling you today? Because today is a day of freedom. Today is a day of liberation. He said, so who ruling over your mind today? Who ruling over your thoughts today? Who ruling over your body today? Who rule over your life? Let the evil spirit, he said, do not let the evil spirit rule over them, lest they destroy them from the earth. Why? Because that's what Yahuwah coming to do when he coming to destroy the planet. He's coming to remove the things that causes sin. And if you have that on the inside of you, then guess what? You're one of those people. He said, but Barak me and my sons, and let us grow and increase and fill the earth. And you know that which your watchers, the fathers of these spirits, did in my days. They had birthed them. They come out from them. And also these spirits who are alive. Shut them up and take them to the place of judgment, and do not let them cause corruption among the sons of your servants, O my Elohim, because they are cruel and were created to destroy. So when you start seeing chaos in your life, when you start thinking things coming around and things are being destroyed, you're starting to see all these things happen. You're starting to see abrupt things. You're starting to see these things come in your mind, in your life. Just understand they are demons. They are spirits. They're ruling, or they're warring. They're trying to take control. Just like any war that you would see. They're going to lay siege on your mind. They're going to lay siege on your life and everybody in your life. And they're going to make war with them. And guess what it says? And let them not rule over the spirits of the living, because you alone know their judgment. And do not let them have power over the children of the righteous, henceforth and forever. Don't let them have power over the children of the righteous. Humble yourself like a child. He said, if you don't humble yourself like a child, you will never enter the kingdom. The Malkuth. You won't be Yahuwah's child. And guess who's going to rule over your mind? Demons, Shadim, Jinn. They're going to rule over your thoughts. And they're going to be telling you and teaching you and having you do things. And guess what? You obey the desires of them. And guess what he said? Because remember what he said. He prayed to him and said, let the demons lead, who were leading astray and binding and killing his grandchildren. That's what they were doing. The demons were leading them astray. This is Matthew 24:3. And he sat at the Mount of Olives, and the disciples came to him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the age? And Yahushua answered them, see that no one leads you astray. Don't let a demon lead you astray. Don't let a demon lead you astray. Because that's all they're going to do. They're only there to destroy. The abomination that maketh desolation. Demons. They destroy. For many will come in my name, saying, I am Mashiach, or I am anointed, and they will lead many astray. They will be demons. Because that's what they are. They'll be spirits. They're demons. That's what they are. That's why he said they're going to come in my name, because demons can do that. And he said they're going to lead many astray. So the word for end is Santenalia in Greek. It says entire, completion, the consummation. When is the consummation? They were asking for the dispensation, the end. The end, the consummation of the age. The word for age is aeon. So Tetsanea aeon. They were looking for the aeon or the end of the age. He said the world without end. When is the consummation of the age? When there's going to be a world without end? He said, make sure you don't let no demon lead you astray. That's the first thing you need to pay attention to. Let no spirit or demon lead you astray. Don't let the. It's like Noah prayed. Noah, he said, don't let them lead my grandchildren astray. Amazingly, you look at Yahushua says, if you don't humble yourself like a child, you'll never enter the Malkut. You'll never enter. He said, don't let them lead you astray. Bereshit 2:7 says, then Elohim formed Adam from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living creature. Don't let no demon lead you astray now. And Yahuwah Elohim planted a garden in Adon, or Eden, right? Eden, right? In the east. And there he put the man whom he had formed. And out of the ground Yahuwah Elohim made to spring up every tree that was pleasant in the sight and good for food. The tree of life which is in the midst of the garden, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Aramaic Palestinian Targums, Bereshit, section 1 says, and Yahuwah Elohim created man in two formations and two dust, from the place of the house of the sanctuary and from the four winds of the world, and mixed from all the waters of the world, and created him red, black, and white, and breathed into his nostrils the inspiration of life, the neshama. And there was in the body of Adam an inspiration of a speaking ruach. He gave a mouth to his creation. To a man, woman, he gave you a mouth. Even a woman that come out from the reeb, right, from the inward parts of a man. It say, man, he gave you a mouth. Open your mouth and speak, right? Guess what he said he gave you the speaking ruach for? Unto the illumination of the eyes and the hearing of the ears. That is your weapon. Your weapon is your voice. And Adam became a soul of life. And a garden of Eden of the just was planted by the word of Elohim before the creation of the world. And he made there to dwell the man when he created him. Right? So we look at these things. So this is Bereshit, Genesis 2:7-8. Targums, Jonathan, same thing. Yahuwah Elohim created Adam with two inclinations. And he took the dust from the site of the sanctuary and from the four winds and the mixture of all the waters of the world, and created him red, black, and white, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. And the breath became the body of Adam, a ruach capable of speech. People say, why did Yahushua casting out mute demons? Because the demons had control over their mouth and wouldn't allow them to speak. So therefore he said, you mute demon. Because it was destroying the person he was in. Because that's what they were created to do. They were destroying, making the person walk on hot coals and throwing himself in the fire. Why? Because that's what demons do. Shadim. He came to free you from that. Today is the day of salvation. It says, and the breath became in the body of Adam a ruach capable of speech. Because that's how Yahuwah made you. He said, don't let no demon lead you astray. I gave you a mouth capable of speech. Don't let no demon lead you astray. To give light to the eyes and give hearing to the ears. Before the creation of the world, a garden had been planted by the memory of Yahuwah, the voice of Yahuwah, Elohim, in Eden for the righteous. Yahuwah created the world with his voice. He has a voice capable of speech and mouth. So therefore, he gave you a mouth capable of speech and able to speak. So you created in his image and his likeness. It's really that simple. You have the right to remain silent, but you don't got to. You don't have to let no demon control you. He said the world is, and guess what it says? Verse 8, and before it says, and the ruach capable of speech. It says to give light to the eyes and give hearing to the ears, because the creation of the world, a garden had been planted by the memory of Yahuwah Elohim from Eden for the righteous. And he made Adam dwell there when he created him. He put Adam in a place with trees and fruits and seeds and vegetables and all these things and fruit trees with animals. And what did he do after that? Bereshit 1:28. And Elohim baraked them, and Yahuwah said to them, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the birds of the Shaby'ay and over everything that moves on the earth. And Yahuwah Elohim said, behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is on the face of the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruits. You shall have them for food, and every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the heavens, the Shamayim, and to everything that creeps on the earth, everything that has breath of life, I have given every green plant for food. And it was so. And all Yahuwah saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. This ain't, we could put vegan on the end of it, worship of Vega and Venus. That's basically what it is. But if you do it according to the word, he gave you every Iseb or grass or yielding seed, a fruit, or a pari, or parah, for akla. This before even a Vega, how you say these type movements came. This ain't a trend. This is before the trend even was created. Right? Not saying, oh yeah, the food, if you say, look at vegetarians and all these things, yes. These are all aspects of vegetables, eating plants. Right? But it says what? It says, and every tree with seed and its fruit, you shall have them for food, and to every beast of the earth and every bird of the green plants for food, right? Plant-based food. And it was so. And Yahuwah saw everything that he had made. Behold, it was very good. It was already good. It was very good. Isn't that what ignorance is? A great evil. It's great. It's a real bad, it's a great evil. But it's distinguished by those who are earnest. He said, man, you know what? Pray that don't let no demon lead you astray. That's all you got to do. It says, and there was evening and there was morning the sixth day. Shaby'ay or Shishiyum. This is Aramaic Palestinian Targums. It said, and he barak them, and Yahuwah said to them, increase and multiply and fill the earth with sons and daughters, and prevail over it in its possession, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the heavens, and over the creeping animals that creep upon the earth. And Yahuwah said, I have given every herb whose seed upon the face of the earth, and every unfruitful tree for need. It said every unfruitful tree for the need of building and burning. So he's talking about bringing a Kadush life for fruits to Yahuwah. Just understand, if you ain't bearing no fruit, you're just used for something else. Open your mouth and speak. See, I gave a speaking ruach to my creation, but you ain't got no fruit, no Chudash life. So therefore, you're only for a billion burning. It says, and the tree in which is fruit, seeding after its kind, and to you it shall be for food. But to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the Shaby'ay, and every reptile upon the earth, in which is a living soul, I have given all green herbs. So you start looking at these things that you feed in animals. You got crocodiles eating other animals. You got lions eating other animals. You got other beings and things eating other animals and consuming them and destroying them. That was not how he made the world. That's not how he made it. He never made it. You got human beings biting and devouring each other. You got brother and sister biting and devouring each other. You got brother biting and devouring each other with their words. You got sister biting and devouring each other with their words. You got husband and wife biting and devouring each other with their words. You got children biting and devouring their parents with their words. That ain't how he made man. He ain't made you to eat that. That ain't how he made you. So, and it was so. So it says, and Yahuwah beheld everything that he had made, and it was very good. It was a very, very good. When somebody says very good, that means, like they say, absolutely good. Right? Muy bueno, right? They say muy, right? Mucho, right? Very, very good, right? So you start looking at being great. He said being very good. And it was evening and it was morning the sixth day. Sixth yom. That's what people need to do. They need to meditate. Yom. You need to meditate on this. It was very good. Everything he made was good. There was no hatred. There was no lying. There was none of this stuff. This Aramaic Palestinian Targums, Bereshit. And Yahuwah saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that all imagery and thoughts of his heart was only evil every day. And he repented Yahuwah in his word that he had made man upon the earth, and he passed judgment upon by his word. By his word. That's how he used it to create the world. So he's going to judge the world by the word. We just read some of the word that he did in Bereshit 128, 126 through 28. He made man from the dust of the ground, man. It says, and there was repentance before Yahuwah in his word that he had made man upon the earth. And he said and judged in his lab, his mind. He judged in his mind. And Yahuwah said, I will abolish by my word human beings. Why is he going to do that? Because he made the world very good. Because you know what? When everything was very good, then something happened. A bunch of demons came on the scene. Spirits. It says, whom I created upon the face of the earth, from man to cattle to reptile to fowl of Shaby'ay, because I have repented in my word. So when you going to repent? In the word. In your mind. That I have made them. But Nuach found favor before Yahuwah. Yeah, you know that same Nuach that prayed and said, don't let the demons lead them astray. Yeah, don't let the demons lead my children astray. My grandchildren. Which they are continually today, still. Right. This Bereshit 6 and 5, same. It says, and Yahuwah saw that the wickedness of human beings was great in the earth. And I asked, where you live at? I keep forgetting, like, where are you? All the people that can hear me, or he's at, where you live at? I don't live on the earth. Where you live at? You live here. Yahuwah, like, all the wickedness on the earth. Why? Because that's where he put somebody. He said, and every intention of his thoughts, his mind, of his heart was only evil continually. Constantly evil. Full of anger, bitterness, strife, complaining, criticism, pride, mumbling, grumbling, complaining, shooting, killing, robbing, stealing, slander, lying. This is continually. And Yahuwah regretted that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him to his mind, his heart. So when are you going to be grieved with things in your mind, in the darkness in your mind, and the demons that have led you astray, or are currently leading you astray? People say, what do you mean by that? Because we're going to see. We're going to see. At the end of this, you're going to see. So Yahuwah said, I will blot out man whom I have created from the face of the land. Man and animals and creeping things and birds of the heavens, for I am sorry that I have made them. But knew I found favor in the eyes of Yahuwah. So the word for imagination of man's heart is laid. So every imagination of man's inner man, mind, willing, understanding. We talk about understanding so much. They that fear Yahuwah understand the truth. These people don't. It says inner parts, inner man, mist, man, every imagination, heart, man, mind, knowledge, thinking, reflection, memory, inclination, resolution, determination, appetites, emotions and passions and courage has demons in them. The demons are in there, all in their thoughts. They can't even think straight. They have demons leading them astray in every single aspect of their life, their conscience, their memory, their determination, their courage, their will, their emotions and passions and appetites. There are demons leading them. He said, man, your soul, he said, your inner man, understanding, you're on demon time. Shadim time. Every imagination and thought is being led by demons. And not by Yahuwah and his work, and his debar, and his word, his righteous, pure light or word. It says the word for thought. So every thought has demon. Every device, thought, device, plan, purpose, invention, the purpose of a man. Every single thought and purpose is evil, led by Shadim. Devices, imaginations, purpose and thoughts. Even the advice is led by demons. We're going to see that too. Machine, tech, you think about it. Plot. I'm gonna give some advice to you. We're gonna ask a woman, another woman asks another woman. I'm gonna give some advice to you. But then the actual advice is to do evil, or to set you up to do evil, or to make you fall. A man gives another advice to another man, and guess what? Demons leading that advice, and guess what? They leading people, destroying other people. Yeah, little teenagers get together, about 5 of them, and they come walking together, and then next you know a demon get in the midst, and they just start taking advice from the demon, and they say, hey, you know what, let's go shoot this person in the head and take everything he got. Being led by spirits and demons. That's every imagination and thought. It's evil continually. 2 men riding down the road, and they riding around, they get angry and mad. They get angry and mad because the car, a device that somebody created, and they get angry and mad over the device, and they got their own daughter in the car, and they start shooting each other, and they end up shooting their own daughters. And they themselves don't even get shot. Every imagination and thought is on the evil continually. And if people say, where do you live at? I live on the earth. Where do you live? You know why people say, that ain't has nothing to do with me. Oh, yes, it does. So the word for evil, every imagination and thought was only Ra. Yeah, Ra. And they say the Egyptians worship evil. Or Mizraim or Cush, how you say. But evil was here before Cush was even born, out of Nuach's loins. Who he married Naam, and Naam wasn't who she was. Because that was the more deception too. His wife. But hey, we're not going to get into that part either. Y'all willing from the time. Right? So it says bad. Every imagination and thought is what? Evil, disagreeable, malignant, unpleasant, evil, unhappy, misery. You despise wisdom and nurture. Just evil dispersion. You got a congregation, a building on every single corner. You got supposedly have the word of Yahuwah, and you got all this evil going on in the world. Which means there's something wrong with them. Something wrong. Right. It says bad, malignant, kind. It says hurtful. Every imagination, misery, injury, adversity, misery, calamity. That's all people thought about. And they are thinking today. disagreeable. Can't even agree with nothing. Absolute fact, true. They can't agree with it. Because they want their own unjust gain. So this is the apocalypse of Shadrach, pseudepigrapha, Old Testament. Shadrach said to him, "It was by your will that Adam was deceived, my master. You commanded your Malachim to worship Adam, and he who was first among the Malachim disobeyed your order and did not worship him. And so you banished him because he transgressed your commandment and did not come forth to worship the creation of your hands." So when you start looking at Satan and his Malachim, he say, the last shall be first and the first shall be last, right? It says, if you loved man, why did you not kill the devil, Satan, the artificer of all iniquity, the starter of this stuff? Who can fight against an invisible Ruach? He enters the heart of men like a smoke, like incense, like a hookah, like a pipe, like a cigar, and teaches them all kinds of sin. What do you mean teaches them all kinds of sin? He enters your mind. He a demon, spirit, led astray. See that no demon leads you astray. And he even fights against you. He was like, when Yahushua come back, you know that Satan, he gonna get him and his people, all the people that with him, they gonna fight against him. Of course he does. This is the immortal All Yahuwah. And so what can pitiful man do against him? Yet have mercy, master, and destroy punishment. Otherwise, receive me also with the sinners. For if you will not be merciful with sinners, where are your mercies and where is your compassion, Yahuwah? And Yahuwah Elohim said to him, be it known to you that everything I commanded man to do was within his reach. Let us make man in our own image on light. Let him have authority to fish the sea, fowl of the air, every creeping thing that creeps upon and over all the earth. Every herb-yielding seed that you see that has for fruit, he said, I'll give you for food. And also, every herb-yielding plant that's for food, I'll give you for the animals also. The reptiles, the birds, the trees, and all the things. He said, man, this is all within his reach. It's not impossible for man to do, Adam to do this. He said, I made him wise and the heir of Shaby'ay and earth, and I subordinated everything unto him, and every living thing flees from him and from his face. Having received my gifts, however, he became a stranger and an adulterer and a sinner. So he got led astray by demons. He got led astray by spirits and demons. He had got the gifts that come from learning, but then he was led astray by demons, spirits, shadim. He said, tell me what sort of a father would give an inheritance to his son. And having received the money, the son goes away, leaving his father, and becomes an alien, a stranger, in the service of two strangers. The father then, seeing the son has forsaken him and gone away, darkens his heart in going away. He receives his wealth and banishes his son from his abode, because he forsook his father. You forsook your leader. You forsook child, daughter, Zakar Nakabah. You forsook Yahuwah. So therefore, he gave you up. Because you exchanged his image for someone else. You exchanged his image, and he put it in your reach. You exchanged his image for somebody else. And he's like, secret lover. Says, how is it that I, wondrous and jealous all Yahuwah, given everything to him, but he, having received them, became an adulterer and a sinner. He said, I gave it to you. He gave it to you. So this is Psalms Tahalim 119:78. Let the proud, the arrogant be put to shame. And Yahuwah said, I'm going to put you all to shame on all the earth. Because they have wronged me through falsehood and lies. Right? He said, see that no one leads you astray. You see David in the book of Tahalim, he's saying, I was led astray by demons. That's basically what he's saying. I was led astray by spirits. Because they wronged me through falsehood and lies. But as for me, I will meditate on your pakud, your precepts. Let those who fear you turn to me, that they may know your testimonies. He said, I was led astray by demons. Falsehood, right? But he has to say, zadi, right? Or proud. So the word for proud is zadi, or zad. It means what? Arrogant, proud, insolent, presumptuous, the arrogant ones. Arrogant men or woman. Arrogant. He said, they let me, the arrogant, he said, let these arrogant men be put to shame, for they wronged me through lies. Shakir. They wronged me through shakir, right? Word for shame, I said, I'm going to put you to shame is bush. I'm gonna put you in a, he said, put you to bush. Put you to shame, bush. So when you see somebody do something wrong, you just say bush. Shame. Bush. He says, be disappointed. Feel shame. Be ashamed. To be ashamed. Right? They would call it, well, you're trying to make somebody feel that way because you did that person wrong. He said, too pale. Pale horse. He said, let those arrogant men, those arrogant women, he said, I'm going to put all this shame. Pale. He said, be ashamed. Shame. Act shamefully. Bring to shame. Disappointed. He said, I want you to feel disappointed. He said, you wronged me through lies. So the word for meditate, he said, I'm going to meditate. Why? Because every imagination and thought can be led by demons. So therefore, every imagination and thought, I need to meditate. I need to muse, communicate. I need to siak. I need to sing. I need to meditate. I need to converse with myself. People say, I don't talk to myself. I say, then you ain't doing this right. I need to muse, pray, speak, talk, meditate. I need to consider. I need to complain to Yahuwah, right? Because when you're in trouble, every imagination and thought is only evil continually. I'm being led away by demons, spirits. But today is the day of salvation. The word for fear is yareh. This means what? So morally reverent or be afraid. Fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom. Rashid. It said it drives away sins. It means it drives away demons. It make demons flee. It make them jump in pigs. It make them go and seek in the dry places and find another body. That's what fear of Yahuwah do. So the word for reverent is feeling or showing deep, solemn respect. Do you respect your father, your Ab, and your mother in Shamayim, the higher Shamayim, who can begot and bear? Or you don't respect him? Because if you did, then guess what you would do? You would fear your father, your Ab. And you would do what he says. And you will not forsake him and become a sinner. You will get the gifts that come from learning, and then you won't let no demon lead you astray. See that no one leads you astray. You know what Yahushua said? Don't let them lead you astray from me. That's what Yahushua is saying. Don't let them lead you astray from me, Yahuwah, Yahushua Mashiach. I am the person. Don't let them lead you astray from me. From the household, Yahuwah, Yahushua, and you. Don't let them lead you astray now. From the household. That's basically what he's saying. So the word for statutes is pakud. He said, I'm going to meditate. I'm going to siak, or how you say, put the meme on the front, Mashiach, right? I'm going to meditate on your commandments. On the Mashiach's commandments, precepts, statutes, mandates. What did Yahushua mandate? See that no one leads you astray. First and foremost, you asking me all these questions. The first thing you need to make sure you don't do is let a demon, a spirit, lead you astray. So they're going to come in saying, I'm Mashiach, saying I'm somebody. They're going to lead you astray. Because I'm the only one that should be leading you. Yahushua Mashiach, right? So the word for testimonies is Aydah, right? You see these shows, they use this word and they use it for AI technology, artificial spirits, or artificial ruach, the archons that do that. But we look at the testimony as what? Aydah. I'm going to meditate on your testimonies, your pekud and your testimony, your statutes and your testimonies. So the testimony means what? Always. What it says, laws, the divine testimony. Witness. Right? You look at divine testimony is what? A solemn declaration by the disciples and as authentication of those things they know as fact. How did he make the world? What did he give man? How did he create us? What did he tell us to do? What did he tell us to eat? He said all this is in your reach. But then you feel like demons lead you astray. And it's still in your reach. Formed and shaped all over again. So this is Luke 8:17. For nothing is hidden that will not be made manifest, nor anything that secret that will not be made be known and come to light. Nothing. So if you say, surely Yahuwah know your thoughts, he 10,000 times brighter than the sun. So if you're doing something, just understand he gonna know. He can see directly in your thought. He can see your whole intent. Yuchanan 3:20 says, for everyone who does wicked things hates the light. He hates the or the one from the beginning, the one before the Shamash. You know, the one that everybody worship. Before the sun. He said, man, before that sun, he said, man, you hate that light that was before that. Before the Shemesh, Kugabim, and the Yard, you know, the ones that people worship, the Vega star system and the Venus. He said, before that, I was a light before that. And I gave you those things to actually tell you when to worship me. I didn't tell you to worship them. They tell you when to worship me. You better go worship Yahuwah. But now the stars, Kugabim, in the Yard, and the Shemesh, Kugabim, and now they telling people to worship them. Now the demons telling you to worship them. Before they used to be supposed to tell you to worship Yahuwah at an appointed time, when they align and do all these things, when they all one. But now they tell you to worship them. Uh-oh. Somebody in trouble. This is Yuchanan 3:20. It says, for everyone who does wicked things hates the light and does not come to the light, lest his work should be exposed. Nobody wants to be exposed. Because Yahuwah is 10,000 times brighter than the sun. He said, surely I know all your thoughts. I searched all your works. I'm going to put you all to shame. You arrogant men and women and children and teenagers. I don't even think teenagers is it. You sons and daughters. That's another word. Sons and daughters. You men and women, sons and daughters. I'm going to put you all to shame. It says, lest your works should be exposed. And Mashli, Proverbs 10:18 says, the one who conceals hatred has lying lips. You got hatred for Yahuwah, you got hatred for your brother, for other people that ain't righteous. Well, how you say they are righteous and you hate them? You hate the things they do? Man, you say you got lying lips. So you concealing it. So word from conceal is katsah, to cover, conceal, to cover oneself, clothe oneself. So you clothe yourself and conceal sinah. You conceal sinah. They use this in congregation. They say sinah is what a person does when they commit sin. But sinah is hatred. Hatred. Hatred of who? Because in order for you to hate Yahuwah, you have to hate him and follow somebody else. Which means you have hatred for Yahuwah and you love the demon, Shadim, that you follow. You cover yourself in it. Katsah sinah. You cover yourself in hatred. So, and he said, you cover yourself in hatred, you have shakir, you have lying lips. So you consider yourself super spiritual. People say, I'm a spiritual person. I'm a prophet and Nabi Yah. I'm an apostle such and such. And they put it on their little Instagram posts and they put it on their thing. Or I'm more such and such. Or such and such, such and such. They put all these things and they put all these titles up. Something for you to follow. A father, right? Father such and such with the fish hat. Father such and such. You call this dude father. You don't even have one Abba. They say, you mean if you forsook Yahuwah, your Abba, and you created his image, I mean you following a demon. You following a Shadim. Father such and such. Why would you do that? And man, it says, Shakir, right? He said you got lying lips, you got concealed hatred, lying, deception, disappointment, falsehood, deceit, fraud, false oaths, swear falsely, falsify, false, self-deceive, nabi'im. There's no reason for a person to know that these beings exist. And then they go out here and get mad at the person. He said, you lied to me. No, you lied to yourself. Because you forsook the Ab in the higher Shamayim, and you called this human your father, and then you allowed that person to lead you astray, or that demon. They had the demon on the inside, and the demon led you astray. You allowed that. It has nothing to do with nobody else. Right? Today is the day of freedom, right? Today is the day you take back control of your mind and give it back to the one who made all things, Yahuwah. Right? So it says, the word for lying lips is shakir, deceit, fraud, disappointment, falsehood, falsified, false, self-deceived, nabi'im, prophets, nabiyas, apostles, self-deceived apostles, mores, self-deceived ra'as, shepherds, self-deceived pastors and teachers, self-deceived people, self-deceived, you deceiving yourself, a lie, falsehood, untruth, sham, liar, lying. Right? He said these are all aspects of demons, spirits. These demons are still here, people. They are still here. As you can see in the world, all you gotta do is go walk outside, walk down the street, turn on the news. You know when you fear when you walk down the street. You know when you walk down the street, you know you fear, you know, because these spirits are here. They're all inside of people. Some have legions, some have couples, some have one or two, some have none. But all are able to be taken over by them. So verse Mashali 17:4 says, an evildoer listen to wicked lips. So if you're an evildoer, you got a shadim, you know who your master is. You know who your father is, and you take orders from him. You got a demon, that's what happens. Every imagination and thought is evil continually, guess who you're under order of? You are under the jurisdiction of Satan and his minions. You are in his army. You know, they say, I'm in the army of Yah, I'm in the army of Yahuwah, I'm in the army of things, and they be like, no, you're not. Right? An evildoer listens to wicked lips, and a liar, shakir, a self-deceived prophet, nabi'im, nabi'ah, gives ear to mischievous tongue. He said, you'll listen to it. So the word for evildoer in Proverbs is ra. You give an ear to this, right? An evildoer, a ra, a bad, evil person, to be wicked, a broken person, a piece of broken asunder, a person who's done wrong. You are more open to an evil spirit. Either you're going to heed to Yahuwah's voice and do good, or you're going to heed to the evil spirit and do more evil. Like David, after he got caught in adultery, he kept sinning and sinning and sinning. He just kept listening to it. He was broken. He knew he was wrong, but yeah, he was broken. But yeah, guess what? He kept on sinning. You listen to mischievous tongue. You are your father, Satan. Right? At that moment, he made a mistake and he let somebody lead him astray. A demon, a spirit. And he was coming to destroy him. That same demon that possessed Saul, that tried to pin David to the wall, was the same demon David followed eventually and led him astray to do adultery. Ain't that something, right? Ain't that something? So you look at it, good, nothing, wicked doer. You can say, I could be a wicked doer. Like, I'm kind and loving and caring and doing all these things, but then you do evil with it. He said, I keep the feast day, I do all these things. I do all these things from my youth. He said, you're a wicked doer. I do all these things, I'm kind and do all these things, but then yet you have falsehood. I'm a drug dealer, I give money to the poor. You're a wicked doer. Now you're talking about plants. We're talking about things that you mix in a lab with a chemical. And then you make it into something else to make somebody be addicted to it, to make them come back to you. That is called sorcery. Or how you say pharmakeia. right? Or pharmacon, like they say in other places. Right? So this is word for listen. You will listen. He said, you be a kashab. You will be attentive. Pay attention. You will prick up the ears and hearken to a demon, a spirit, Satan, but not to Yahuwah, not to his word, not to bar, not Yahushua Mashiach. Don't let no man lead you astray. You will hearken to them. You will listen to them. Right? So the word for wicked is avin, or if you want to take out the vowels, aun, right? It means to pant. So you will pant, you will be attentive, you will pant, exert oneself. You will exert, you use a lot of energy for it too. You will trouble, wickedness, sorrow, trouble, idolatry, right? Vanity, wickedness, specifically an idol. You'll start listening to an idol. It becomes an idol in your mind. Wicked, right? Wicked lips, right? You listen to a wicked language, language, speech. Right? All these are aspects that one will listen to. It also means bank, shore, language, border. It means clothes, band, bank. Doesn't matter where you stand at. I'm gonna be by the river, but I'm gonna be thinking on this evil lips, this mischievous tongue that I'm hearing. Thinking about how much evil you're gonna do sitting by the Aydahchay river. Instead of repenting like, dang, y'all, you over here by the river thinking about what evil you gonna do. Man, what kind of, that's not no shalom at all. So this is word for mischievous is hawa or hava, right? Hava is what? You listen to a mischievous tongue. And it says what? Mischievous tongue is what? Desire. You listen to a desire, and engulfing ruin, destruction. That's what these demons were made for, to destroy. You'll follow a destructive tongue. It says following desire, also ruin. It will cause ruin in your life. It will cause ruin in your household. It will cause ruin in your family. It will cause ruin in your relationships. It will cause ruin in your finances. It will cause ruin in everything you do. It will cause ruin in your lifestyle, in your produced fruits. It will cause ruin in your whole life. That's all these demons want to do. They want to destroy everything. But today is the day of freedom. Today is the day you don't got to follow these spirits no more. He's like, nah. I'm going to cast down every imagination and thought that exalts itself against Yahushua Mashiach and the knowledge of him. Right? So this is word for lashon, or tongue is, or word for tongue is lashon. You listen to a mischievous tongue, an organ of speech. Remember, he said he gave Adam a speaking mouth, or speaking ruach. But this speaking ruach, this little demon, this little spirit, this little mischievous tongue, it's going to be a language and a tongue, right? It means tongue of animals, an organ of speech, tongue of an animal. It means fire. It's a language, an evil speaker, a talker, a babbler, right? A babbler, lashon, right? So we start looking at these aspects. Right? It could be man or animal. Cake. Animals can talk. It depends on what dimension you in, or world you in. If the gateway is open and a gateway in another world is open, the animal is going to start talking. Depends on where you are and what Yahuwah does. But animals do talk. If you don't believe me, go ask them. They going to understand what you say. They just ain't going to say nothing back. They're going to turn their head to the left and to the right, look at you and do exactly what you say. But they ain't going to speak back. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? Whether you speak in English, Arabic, Ashy'ry, it don't matter. Them animals will do exactly what you say. Isn't that amazing? The animals are bilingual. They speak telepathically to each other. They don't even talk to each other. But hey, that's another subject for another day. This is Ashy'ry 19:22. It says, what is desired in man is steadfast love, and a poor man is better than a liar. That's what he wants, love, ahab. How much love do you have? He said a poor man is better than a liar. What's the word for liar? Kazab. A lie, an untruth, a falsehood, deceptive thing. Deceit, liar, lying. You say you be joined to a house of a liar, or you be joined to a liar, or you be joined to a palace of a liar. So this is Mashalee 19:9 says, a false witness will not go unpunished, and he who breathes out lies, Kazab, will perish. You're going to perish. You're going to perish. Why? Because you are your father, Satan. There's a reason why you need to get rid of these demons out your mind. People say, stop letting these demons lead you astray. See that no one leads you astray. Because they're going to be demons. They're going to doing everything opposite of what I told you. Who's your Mashiach? He's like, no, they're spirits. Because I'm trying to bring you back how it was in the beginning. So the testament of Gad or God, right? 12 patriarchs. For as love will quicken even the dead and will call back them that are condemned to die, so hatred will slay the living. And those that have sinned vehemently, it will not suffer them to live. Because Yahuwah ain't like that. He said, wouldn't he wish that man would turn from the evil mind and live? He said, Yahuwah is a lover of souls. He never loveth anything. He never hated anything he created. He's a lover of the souls. So for the Ruach of hatred working together with Satan. So who you working with? I'm an employee of Satan or you're an employee of Yahuwah. It says through hastiness of spirits. Spirits. In all things to men's death, destruction. That's what their demons are made to do. See that no one leads you astray. But the Ruach of love works together with the Turah of Yahuwah and long suffering unto the salvation of men. Good master, what must I do to be saved? Love Yahuwah with all your heart, mind, soul, and being, and love your neighbor as you love yourself. Oh, notice how he say love, 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 love. Love. What happens? Ahab, Ahaba, Fikri, Amor, Ahambu. I. It works together with Yahuwah and the Torah for long suffering and the salvation of men. How you gonna get salvation to Adam, to men? All they see is evil, love. You gotta do opposite. Don't matter what color you are, what flesh you are. Doesn't matter where you come from. In order, he said, with loving kindness have I drawn you. Drawn you what? Salvation of men and women. How you gonna do that? With love. Aha. All flesh stink. It ain't just one race. People say, oh, race stink. I mean, if you don't take a bath long enough, you're gonna stink too. If you don't go outside and wash your mind from these demons, you'll stink too on the inward, man. You are gonna smell you. If you don't do it, he gonna smell you. Don't matter who you are, what you call yourself. Verse 25 says, hatred therefore is evil, and it constantly made it with lying. That's all hatred gonna do. You a liar, you or your father Satan. It's speaking against the truth. Why would he? You fight against you even Yahuwah. Why would you make somebody this invisible Ruach? An invisible man. I want to be invisible. I want to be invisible. Then first thing the person do when they get invisible, I was watching a show, first thing he do after he get invisible, he want to go do some evil stuff. He want to go do some lust. He want to go do something he ain't got no business doing. How you going to fight against an invisible Ruach? Then he get ran over by a car. How? Right. And making small things to be great and causes the light to be darkness. That's all it is. Darken your mind. And cause the sweet bitter and teaches slander and kindle wrath and stir up war. These are all working together with Satan. And we're going to see a story. You're going to see all these spirits working. And violence and all covetousness. And it filleth the heart with evil and devilish poisons. All that. Just from lying and hatred. So why would you want that? Why would you want these be led astray by this? When the Ruach of love work together with Yahuwah and Mashiach Yahushua. That's why he said, don't let no man lead you astray. Don't let no human being, no man, no human being, no woman, no human being, no child, don't let no human being, no teenager, don't let no, what they call a teenager, what they call a son or daughter, don't let nobody lead you astray. Why? From Ruach of love. No matter what. No matter what. Or you're going to be filled with poison. And you know what happens when you fill with poison when you open your mouth and speak? Wormwood. So this testament of Don, then we'll get into this story. Dawn. which means judge. It says, now, my children, I am dying. And I say to you in truth that if you do not guard yourselves against the spirit of falsehood and anger, which that is Shaby'ay and Kazab, and love truth and forbearance, you will perish. Which means you got to have long suffering. You got to love truth and have long suffering. Because you got to have that ruach of love. It says, there is blindness in anger, my children, and there is no angry person who can perceive the face of truth. Panim. You can't perceive it. It can't get in your mind. For even if one is his father or mother, he treats them as enemies. If it is his brother, he does not recognize him. If it is a Nabi or Nabiyah, a prophet, a Nabi of Yahuwah, he misunderstands the truth. Because he don't trust Yahuwah no more. He's trusting falsehood and anger and lying spirits. He's trusting the mischievous tongue. He no longer trusts Yahuwah. He doesn't understand the truth. If it is a just man, he is unaware of him. You unaware of it. I don't even know that person just. He said, if you understand the truth, you know that person just. But if you got anger and falsehood, he said, man, you ain't gonna know. You're unaware of a just person. If a friend, he ignores him. He said, I'm a friend. Right? For the ruach of anger ensnares him in the nets of deceit. It's a deceitful thing. Blinds his eyes literally, darkens his understanding by means of a lie, a shaker, a kazab, and provides him with his own peculiar perspective of the truth. By what means does it ensnares division? By hatred in the heart, in the mind. Works together with Satan. It gives him a peculiar disposition to envy his brother or sister, or mother or father. He says, anger is evil. My children, why? Because it leaves you open to demons. For it becomes motivating force of the soul itself. That force has strange effects on the body of an angry man or woman. It dominates his soul. Yahuwah is a lover of souls. He said, today is a day of freedom. Today is the day of salvation. And provides the body with a peculiar power so that it can accomplish every lawless act. When the soul acts, it justifies whatever it is done, since it lacks discernment. Having your members exercise to discern between Ta'ub and Ra. He said, but being that some try to be teachers, he said, need one teach you again, be first principles or oracles of Yahuwah. What's the first principle or oracle of Yahuwah? Love. Love. Ahab. That is the first principle. Love. Ahab. For Yahuwah so loved the world. That's the first principle. That he gave his only begotten Ben, Yahushua Mashiach, in the beginning when the light came into the world on the first day of creation. That is the first principle of Yahuwah. Love. Aha. So when the soul acts, it justifies whatever is done. It lacks discernment. So then whoever is angry, if he is a powerful person, has triple strength by reason of his anger. So if you go in the gym and you work out every day, Muscle Beach, Jungle Gym over in Tulum or these other places, Muscle Beach or California and all these things, you get angry, just understand. You're a sword fighter and you do all these things, you're going to get even double. It says, has triple strength by reason of his anger. First, through power and support of his subordinates. Second, through his wealth, by which he can win by persuasive acts of triumph and justice. So people think strength, mighty men, wealth is mighty. All these things are mighty in this world. Strength, fighting tactical movements, all these things make someone strong. But he said, when you get angry, you're going to be susceptible to demons and you're going to be doing the will of a demon with your money and your strength. It says, thirdly, he has natural force in his own body, and through it accomplishes evil. Ra, every imagination and thought, evil continue. But if the angry one is a weak person, his strength is twice that of nature. So just like he said, give honor to the wife as a weaker vessel, just understand, she get angry. A person weak, skinny, you know how they say weak in the faith? Because they eat herbs. If they get angry, they're going to be twice the strength of nature. For anger always supports such persons in their transgression. When you leave off love and ahab, the first principle, love, the Ruach always moves with falsehood, lying, self-deceived prophets, nabi'im, deception, deceit. It moves with it. That's what it moves with. You ever seen somebody move, get on the dance floor, on the skating ring, and they do all the configuration and they dance with a partner? Just understand, anger and lying, they move together. You say, man, I need to change how I move. Yes. Today is the day of salvation. One can change today. The Ruach always moves with falsehood at the right hand of Satan. Satan directs. He moves it. See that no one leads you astray. The demons and the spirits lead you astray. In order that such deeds may be done through savagery and deception. That's the only reason. He said, man, how you get so wise to do that evil thing? People like, I don't even know. It takes wisdom to do that, right? So when we start looking at these aspects, we start looking at the love, the hob that we need to have continually. We need to understand some things. But yeah, we're going to move into this story. This is Bith Shamuel, or 2 Samuel 15:1. After this, Absalom got himself a chariot and horses, and 50 men to run before him. And Absalom, or father of peace, his name means father of peace. Which means he ain't forsook his father, right? Father of peace, right? Because his name means father of peace. He the father of peace. Let's see. Let's see if he do that. It says, and Absalom used to rise early and stand beside the way of the gate. And when any man had a dispute to come before the king for judgment, Absalom would call to him and say, from what city are you? And when he said, your servant is of such and such tribe in Yasharal, Absalom would say to him, see, your claims are good and right, but there is no man designated by the king to hear you. Then Absalom would say, oh, that I were a judge in the land. He said, man, if I was a judge in the land, I want to be somebody. Let's see. Then every man with a dispute or cause might come to me, and I will give him justice. I will give him judgment. That's what judgment is. I'm going to give him justice. I want to be somebody. Let's see. He's the father of peace. He want to judge. Right? Because he's the father of peace, right? People say, why he say he don't call no man father on earth? Let's see. It says, and whenever a man came near to pay homage to him, and whenever a man came to pay what? Homage to him, he would put out his hand to take hold of him and kiss him. Oh, you mean like some of these people do today? Father, such and such, and then he said, I'll kiss him. He said, I would put up my hand and I would kiss him. Oh, this has a lot of meaning too. See that no one leads you astray though. Don't let no demon lead you astray. It says, thus Absalom did to all Yasharal who came to the king for judgment. So Absalom stole the hearts of men of Yasharal. So he stole something. He stole the hearts of men to do what? To worship him. To follow after him. Oh. Absalom, father of peace. But he stole the hearts of men to do something. Let's see. And at the end of 4 years, Absalom said to the king, please let me go and pay my vow, which I have vowed to Yahuwah in Hebron. For your servant vowed a vow while I lived at Gersha in Aram, saying, if Yahuwah will indeed bring me back to Jerusalem, then I will offer worship to Yahuwah. The king said to him, go in shalom. So he arose and went to Hebron. But Absalom sent secret messages throughout all the tribes of Yasharal, saying, as soon as you hear the sound of the Turah, Then say, Absalom is king at Hebron. I want to be somebody. The father of peace want to judge and be somebody. He said all that came to him. He gave homage, he gave some little praise to him. Guess what? He would kiss him. Yeah. You know what? I need to make myself even bigger. And he says, and with Absalom went 200 men from Jerusalem who were invited guests. And they went in their innocence and knew nothing. Which means they were ignorant of what they were doing. Take heed to yourself that no one leads you astray. Why? Because they were ignorant. Why? Because ignorant is evil. Like we read, the truth must be eagerly sought after. Because ignorance is evil. It's an evil thing. He said, but they that are earnest, ignorance is destroyed. It says, and while Absalom was offering the sacrifices, he sent for Anaphel, the Gileonite, David's counselor. Oh, David's counselor. Because you know Absalom is David's son, right? And it says David counselor. Says from the city of Gilgal, because David had a counselor, and Absalom wanted the same counselor as his father. And the conspiracy grew strong, and the people with Absalom kept increasing. He said, I'm getting bigger and bigger. People were coming from their judgment. People were kissing my ring. People were kissing my hand. I was kissing them. I would hold him and kiss him. Do all these things when they would worship me. Give me some kind of homage for my judgment. Man, I wish I was a judge. So I sent secret messages saying the king is in Yasharal. I'm the king. I'm the king now. Huh, you the king now? Father of peace? Just because your name Father of peace don't mean you the king. Don't mean you rule. Because he ain't the Father of peace. But here we go. So Yuchanan 12 and 12. The next day a large crowd had come to the feast and heard that Yahushua was coming to Jerusalem. So they took branches and palm trees and went out to meet him, crying out, Hosanna, Baraka is he who comes in the name of Yahuwah, even the king of Yasharal. And Yahushua found a young donkey and sat on it, as it is written, Fear not, daughter of Saul, behold, your king is coming, sitting on a donkey coat. You say, why Yahushua was here? He was here to manifest, destroy the works of Satan. Because somebody walking around saying they the Father of peace. And they got judgment, and they sending secret messages out saying the king is the king in Yasharal, right? So guess what I'm coming to do? I'm coming to destroy the works of Satan. It says his disciples did not understand these things at first. But when Yahushua was glorified kabod, they remembered that these things had been written about him and had been done to him. The crowd that had been with him when he called Lazarus out of the tomb and raised him from the dead continued to bear witness. The reason why the crowd went to meet him was that they heard that he had done this sign. Guess what happened? So the Pharisees said to one another, You see that you are gaining nothing. Look, the world is gone after him. They're going after this man. They're going after the Father of peace. Man, it's increasing. Absalom, Father of peace, it's increasing. He said, man, the people going after this person. There's a king in Yasharal, right? Yahushua was manifested to destroy the works of Satan. He said, take heed to yourself that no one leads you astray. So many will come in my name and say, I am Mashiach. I am anointed. I wish I was a judge like Absalom, right? He said, he's going to lead me and people astray. That's what he said. So this is Yuchanan 5:19. So Yahushua said to them, Truly, truly, I say to you, the son can do nothing of his own accord, but only what he sees the father doing. Oh, you mean only what Absalom saw David do? That's why he went and got David's counselor, David's counselor, and the Fed. I'm doing the same thing my father do. I'm the king now. You see the son doing exactly what the father does. Yahushua was manifested to destroy the works of Satan. For whatever the father does, the son does likewise. That's the same thing Absalom did, father of peace. You see the son is also the father of peace, Absalom. In Yuchanan 10:25, Yahushua answered them, I told you, and you do not believe me. The works that I do in my Father's name bear witness about me. I'm judging people. I'm my father's son. I can judge people like Absalom, father of peace. But you do not believe because you are not among my sheep. Man, he sent secret messages. Man, there's a king in Yasharal. But the people didn't know. Even his disciples didn't know what this meant. Why are he doing this stuff? Because he's here to destroy the works of Satan. Guess what he says? He said, I give them eternal life. I judge them. Guess what it says? And they will perish. They will never perish. Why? Because they don't have hatred in life. But here we go. It says, and no one will snatch them out of my hand. My Father, who has given them to me, is greater than all. And no one is able to snatch them out of my hand. I and my Father are one. Father of peace is the Son, Absalom. I'm going to do everything my father did. I'm going to call NFL. But this imposter, he said, all became before me are thieves and robbers. So who? Oh, Absalom. He said Absalom stole the hearts. He's a thief and a robber. So Yahusha coming to take it back. See that no one leads you astray. See that no human being, no man, no human being, no judge, no king, no ruler, no priest, no Kahan, no wise man, no pastor, no ra'ah, no teacher, no shepherd lead you astray. Don't let no demon lead you astray and destroy your life. That's the first thing you need to do. So continue on. Bishamuel 15:13. As in a messenger came to David saying, the hearts of the men of Yasharal have gone after Absalom. Oh, you mean the whole world is going after him? We just read it. The father of the sons, David's son, father of peace. Then Daud said to all his servants who were with him at Jerusalem, arise, let us flee, or else there will be no escape for us from Absalom, from the father of peace. So they fearing, who they fearing? They fearing Yahuwah? Oh, no, they fearing the father of peace. Somebody else calling themselves a father. But they fearing a demon. They fearing another being. He said the fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom. This truth must be eagerly sought after. The fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom. He said, they that fear Yahuwah understand the truth. You understand that, Absalom. You understand this father of peace, who you supposed to call no man father on earth. But yet, he says, go quickly, lest he overtake us quickly and bring down ruin on us. Okay, that's what he is, because he's a demon. That's what they do. They cause destruction. And strike the city at the edge of the sword. What do you think they're coming to do? They're coming to kill, steal, and destroy. He already stole the hearts of Yasharal. What else he coming to do? Steal, kill, and destroy. Satan himself. People say they don't even know. And the king's servants said to the king, behold, your servants are ready to do whatever my master, the king, decides. So the king went out and all his household after him. And the king left 10,000 concubines to keep the house. Take care of the house, right? And the king went out and all the people after him, and they halted at the last house. They were getting out of there. Because the conspiracy is rising. The father of peace is getting ready to judge. And there's a new king in Yasharal. That's what he said, right? It says, and all his servants passed by him, and all the Kerethites, and the Pelethites, and the 600 Gittites, who had followed him from Gath, passed on before the king. And then the king said to Athi, or it says Ittai, or it's Athi, the Gittite, why do you also go with us? What you going with us? Go back and stay with the king, for you are a foreigner and also an exile from your home. He says, you came only yesterday. He said, you ain't been here that long. You only came yesterday. And I shall today make you wander about with us, since I go, I know not where. I don't even know where I'm going. Like Abraham when he left. He like, get out of there. He said, when you see the abomination that make a desolation standing in the Chudash place where he should not be, Absalom, he said, man, Yahushua told you to do something. Let's see. He said, go back and take your brother with you, and may Yahuwah know steadfast love and faithfulness to you. But Ithal answered the king, as Yahuwah lives, and as master the king lives, wherever my Adon, master the king, shall be, whether for death or life, there also will your servant be. And Daud said to Ithal, go then, pass on. So Ithal the Gittite passed on with all his men and all the little ones who were with him. You know what Peter said, Prophet said to Yahushua? I'm ready to go with you wherever you go, master. He said, man, this day you deny me 3 times. Everywhere you go. He said, why Yahushua was manifested? He came to destroy the works of Satan. It says, and all the land wept aloud as all the people passed by. And the king crossed the brook Kidron, and all the people passed toward the wilderness. And Abithar came up, and behold, Zadok came also with all the Levites, bearing the ark of the covenant of Yahuwah, and they set down the ark until the people had passed out of the city. So they had some things with them, right? But here we go. And then the king said to Zadok, carry the ark of Yahuwah Elohim back into the city. If I found favor in the eyes of Yahuwah, he will bring me back, and let me see both it and the dwelling place. But if he says, I have no pleasure in you, behold, here I am. Let him do to me what seems good to him. How many times in our life have we said that? Like, people say, they spin the bottle top on the top of the table like Inception, and you don't know where you are, but yet you desire to return to a place if Yahuwah has pleasure in you. But if he doesn't have pleasure in you, are you able to say, Yahuwah, do to me what seems good to you? Can you accept that? It says the king, here we go. The king also said to Zadok, the priest, are you not a seer? Go back to the city in Shalom with your 2 sons, Ahimaaz, your sons, and Jonathan, the son of Abithar. See, I will wait as at the fords of the wilderness until word comes from you to inform me. So Zadok and Abithar carried the ark of Yahuwah back to Jerusalem, and they remained there. Right? Continue on. But David went, guess what it says? But David went up the ascent of the Mount of Olives, weeping as he went. So when you start seeing this pattern, when Yahushua said, when you see the abomination that make a desolation, because that's what demons come to do, destroy, standing in the Chudash place and where it should not be, he said, flee to the mountains. And what David at? But David went up the ascent of the Mount of Olives, weeping as he went, barefoot, with his head covered. With his head covered. And all the people who were with him covered their heads. And they went up, weeping as they went. They were ascending up the mountain. Why? Because somebody calling themselves the father of peace, talking about he the new king, seeking out secret messages, making himself a king, and saying, I wish I was a judge, making himself somebody. And he calling himself father on earth, and he the judge. And people come to worship him and give homage to him, and he would kiss them. And he says, and covered their heads, and they went up, weeping as they went. And it was told, Daud, Anaphel is among the conspirators with Absalom. There go little good old Anaphel, the same counselor with David. David had his counselor, Absalom doing the same thing his father does. I and my father are one. Yahushua was manifest to destroy the works of Satan. It says, and David said, Yahuwah, please turn the counsel of Anaphel into foolishness. Because that's what Anaphel come to do, to give some good counsel to Absalom. It says, while David was coming to the summit where Yahuwah was worshipped, behold, Hushai the Archite came to meet him with his coat torn and dirt on his head. David said to him, if you go on with me, you will be a burden to me. But if you return to the city and say to Absalom, I will be your servant, O king, as I have been your father's servant in times past, so now I will be your servant. Then you will defeat for me the counsel of Anaphael. So you start looking at this. He said, you defeat the counsel of Anaphael. Because Ahithophel, right? He says, are not Zadok and Abiathar the priest with you there? So whatever you hear from the king's house, tell Zadok and Abiathar the priest, behold, their 2 sons by them. You shall send to me everything you hear. So Hushai, David's friend, came into the city, just as Absalom was entering Jerusalem. He said, my son, guard yourself from falsehood and anger, also envy, and lies, and Shaby'ay, and Kazab. There's a reason why. So this Shammah 16:1. It said, when David had passed a little beyond the summit, Ziba, the servant of Mephibosheth, met him with a couple of donkeys, saddled bearing 200 loaves of bread. So he got to the summit of the Mount of Olives, right? And he was on that mountain, and he brought a donkey for him. Then he brought bearing 200 loaves of bread, and 100 bunches of raisins, and 100 of summer fruits, and a skin of wine. All this. And the king said to Ziba, what have you brought these? Ziba answered, the donkeys are for the king's household to ride on, because the women and the children had nothing to ride on. They were walking. It's a tough little hike. The bread and the summer fruit are for the young men to eat, and the wine are for those who faint in the wilderness to drink. And the king said, and where is your master's son? Ziba said to the king, behold, he remains in Jerusalem. For he said, today the house of Ashy'ry will give me back the kingdom to my father. Then the king said to Ziba, behold, all that belongeth to Mephibosheth is now yours. And Ziba said, I pay homage. Let me find favor in your sight, my Adon, the king. Let me find favor in your sight. This is Matthew 8:18. So now when Yahushua saw a crowd around him, he gave orders to go over to the other side. And a scribe came up and said to him, Teacher, I will follow you wherever you go. And Yahushua said to him, Foxes have holes and the birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man have nowhere to lay his head. When David left Jerusalem, what did he have? He had nowhere to lay his head. And they were like, man, I'll follow you everywhere you go, Master. Isn't that what the servant said? David had nowhere to lay his head. He had to leave Jerusalem. He said, when you see all these things, flee to the mountains. You got nowhere to lay your head. Foxes have holes, birds of the air have nests. Son of Man got nowhere to lay his head. Matthew 25:31. And when the Son of Man comes in his kabod and all his malachim, then he will sit on the glorious thrones. Before him will be gathered all nations, and he will separate the people one from another, as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. And he will place the sheep on the right and the goats on the left. Then the king will say to those on his right, Come, you who are blessed of my Father, inherit the Malkuth prepared for you in the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. What did the servant do when he ascended up on the mountain? He brought donkeys, he brought food, he brought wine. He said, I was thirsty, you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. He came to meet him with those things when he was ascending up the mountain. And he says, then the righteous will answer him and saying, Adon, when did we see you hungry and feed you, and thirsty and give you drink? And when did we see you a stranger and welcome you, or naked and clothe you? And when did we see you sick and in prison and visit you? And the king, the Malak, isn't that what he said? I'll come to give honor to the king. He said that to Daud. Will answer them, truly I say to you, as you did it to one of the least of these, my brothers, you did it to me. He gave it to the young men. He gave donkeys to the woman. He brought wine to those who were faint. While he ascended up the mountain. Ephesians 3 and 4 says, there is one body and one ruach, just as you were called in one hope that belongs to your call. One master, one amunah, faith, one immersion, one Elohim, and father of all. So who is Absalom? You only got one father, judger of all quick and the dead. Who are you, Absalom? Who are trying to make yourself somebody? Father of peace on earth? Who are you? Oh, you are your father Satan. You are your father the devil. You're trying to get people to worship you. It's not that hard, people. Right here, and it says right here. It says, O Elohim, Father of all, who over all and through all and in all, Bakam was given, or grace was given to each one of us according to the measure of Mashiach's gifts that come from learning. Therefore it says, when he ascended on high, he led captivity captives, and he gave gifts to men. David ascended up the mount, he led captivity, right? He led a host of captives, and he led them up the mountain. And then who met him up there? Somebody give him gifts to men. Somebody gave gifts to them. He said, what are these for? What are these gifts for? So this bitch, Shamuel 16:15. And now Absalom and all the people and the men of Yasharal came to Jerusalem, and Anaphal with him. And when Hushai the Archite, that's the person David sent back, David's friend, he that is friend must first show himself friendly. That's what friends do. They look out for each other. They get each other's back. They make sure people don't hurt them. That's what friends do. They don't conspire against you. Came to Absalom. Hushai said to Absalom, long live the king. Long live the king. And Absalom said to Hushai, is this your loyalty to your friend? Aren't you loyal to Daud, your friend? He says, why did you not go with your friend? Hushai said, you my friend, you do whatsoever I command you. He said, why you go with my friend? Why you go with your friend? And Hushai said to Absalom, no, for whom Yahuwah and this people and all the men of Yasharal have chosen, his I will be. So he submitted himself to the will of Yahuwah. Did he? People say, he lied. No, he just submitted himself to the will of Yahuwah. Because remember, things that happen in your life, either to speed up the timeline and slow down the timeline, so you can still be in the will of Yahuwah, so things can happen in a certain sequence. It says, his will. You see what he said? His I will be. And with him I will remain. And again, whom should I serve? Should it not be his son? Oh. You see, the son is the father of peace. I am my father one. He said, shouldn't I serve his son? Shouldn't I serve Yahushua Mashiach, his son? But he said, as I have served your father, shouldn't you? You serve Yahuwah, you serve his son. But you know what people do? They'll serve Absalom. They'll serve a human being. He said, so I will serve you. Then Absalom said to Anaphel, give your counsel, and what shall we do? Anaphel said to Absalom. So now you got Absalom, who calling himself a father, a judge, sending secret messages saying there's a king Yasharal. David had to flee to the mountains because the abomination make a desolation there. So they all following demons and Satan. So let's see what other things that Satan got. Mischievous tongue. An evildoer listen to mischievous tongue. Let's see what happened. It says, what shall we do? And Anaphel said to Absalom, go into your father's concubines, whom he has left to keep the house. And all Yasharal will hear that you have made yourself a stench to your father. And the hands of all who are with you will be strengthened. How you gonna be strengthened with fornication? How? That's a demon. That's a spirit. The spirit led him astray. You see that no one leads you astray. Take heed to yourself. He says, so they pitched a tent for Absalom on the roof. Then they did it. And Absalom went into his father's concubines in the sight of all Yasharal. They made a porn movie right there in the middle of the city. They did an abomination in Yahuwah's sight in the middle of the city. Because he fallen after demons. Every imagination and thought is only evil continually. Every purpose, every plan, every device. An evildoer listened to the mischievous tongue, and he just did it. So was Absalom the father of peace? Like he says? The everlasting father, the prince of shalom? Was he no, he was an imposter. For many gonna come in my name and say, I am anointed. Oh, I wish I was a judge, and shall deceive many. Now, in those days, the counsel of Anaphael gave was as if it was consulted the word of Yahuwah. Was that the word of Yahuwah? No, that's the word of a demon. A shadim, a jinn, what they call. So was all the counsel of Anaphael esteemed, both by David and by Absalom, even if it was commit sin by committing fornication and doing obscene acts in front of other people. They considered that the word of Yahuwah. Was that the word of Yahuwah? No, that was not the word of Yahuwah. That's a word of a demon, of Satan, Mastama, Asbaal, Montan Booster, right? Stars, other beings. So this is Bis Shamuel 17, 1 through 23. It said, moreover, Anaphael said to Absalom, let me choose 12,000 men. So now he done gave the counsel to commit fornication. Now you see Satan and the demons and stuff still leading. It's like, man, that counsel was good. You see what I'm saying? Like, you see how twisted demons get your mind? You just committed fornication and did all these things inside of Yasharal, and then now you're going to listen to the same person who gave that counsel. Like, that the word of Yahuwah still is out in his mouth. He said, moreover, Anaphael said to Absalom, let me choose 12,000 men, and I will arise and pursue David tonight. So you can see Anaphael has a conspiracy against David. He's like, man, I'll kill him tonight. Because, you know, Satan come to steal, kill, and destroy. And he says, and I will come upon him while he is weary and discouraged, and throw him in a panic. And all the people who are with him will flee. And I will strike down only the king, and I will bring all the people back to you as a bride comes home to her husband. It says, you seek the life of only one man, and all the people of Yahshua will be at Shalom. That's all they were doing. They were seeking the life of one man. Oh, you mean one Mashiach? He said, man, they sent 12,000 people to come get him. When they came to get Yahusha, how many people they brought? They brought a big crowd. They said, whom you seek? He said, Yahusha. And they said, I am he. They went down and fell backwards. Behold your king. They knew who he was. But Anaphael says, and the advice seemed right in the eyes of Absalom and all the elders of Yasharal. What did he say that the spirit of anger and falsehood do? It make you even hate your own father. He said, Absalom, that's the son of David. He said, it seemed good, yeah. I hate my father. He said, man, it'll make you hate your own mother and father. Absalom. That's what falsehood and anger do. He said, guard yourself against the spirit of falsehood and anger. He said, man, if you don't. He said, love the truth. He said, why not? Because you will perish if you don't. And it says, and Absalom said, call Hushai. It says, and the advice seemed right in the eyes of Absalom and all the elders of Yasharal. Then Absalom said, call Hushai the Archite also, and let us hear what he has to say. That's David's friend. There's a friend that's sticking closer than your brother. And when Hushai came to Absalom, Absalom said to him, thus has Anaphael spoken. Anaphael spoken. Shall we do as he says? If not, you speak. And then Hushai said to Absalom, this time the counsel of Anaphael has given is not good. The other one wasn't good either. That one wasn't good either. So Chudash said, you know that your father and his men are mighty men, and that they are enraged like a bear robbed of her cubs in the field. Besides, your father is an expert in war, and he is and will not spend the night with the people. Behold, even now he has hidden himself in one of the pits or some other place. And as soon as some of the people fall at the first attack, whoever hears it will say, there has been a slaughter among the people whom follow Absalom. Then even the valiant men whose heart is like the heart of a lion will utterly melt with fear. For all Yasharal knows that your father Abba is a mighty man, and that those who are with him are valiant men. But my counsel is that all Yasharal be gathered to you, from Dan to Beersheba, as the sand by the sea for a multitude, that you go to battle in persons. So we shall come upon him in some place where he is to be found, and we shall light upon him as the dew falls on the ground. And of him and all the men with him, not one will be left. If he withdraws into a city, then all Yasharal will bring their ropes to that city, and we shall drag it into the valley until even a pebble is to be found there. And Absalom and all the men of Yasharal said, the counsel of Hushai the Archite is better than the counsel of Anaphel. For Yahuwah had ordained to defeat the good counsel of Anaphel, so that Yahuwah might bring harm upon Absalom. Because Yahuwah, the Father, the real Father of peace, the real everlasting Father, the Prince of Shalom, from the increase of his government there shall be no end. Upon the throne of David, you know that Yahuwah said, I seen what Absalom did. And I seen how he obeyed Anaphel and seen it as a word of Yahuwah instead of following Yahushua Mashiach. I seen how he wanted to be somebody. I see how he made him. He tried to make himself me on earth and try to make himself somebody. So you know what? I'm going to get him back. Then we continue on. It says, then Hushai said to the Zach, Abathar the priest, thus and so did Anaphel counsel Absalom and the elders of Yasharal, and thus and so have I counseled. Now therefore send quickly and tell David, do not stay tonight in the fords of the wilderness, but by all means pass over, lest the king and all the people who are with him be swallowed up. Now Jonathan and Ahimaaz were waiting in Rogel. A female servant was to go and tell them, and they were to go and tell the king, Daud, for they were not to be seen entering the city. But a young man saw them and told Absalom. So both of them went away quickly and came to the house of the man of Barim, who had a well in the courtyard, and they went down into it. And the woman took and spread a covering over the well's mouth and scattered grain on it. Right. So she made it look like she was working, and nothing was known of it. When Absalom's servants came to the woman at the house, they said, where is Ahimaaz and Jonathan? And the woman said to him, they have gone over the brook of water. And when they had sought and could not find them, they returned to Jerusalem. After they had gone, the men came out. Well, it said the men came up out of the well. It said when they had gone, the men came up out of the well and went and told Daud the king. Right? Told King David. They said to King Daud, arise and go quickly out over the water, for thus and so has Anaphel counseled against you. Then Daud arose and all the people who were with him, and they crossed Yarden. By daybreak, not one was left who had not crossed Yarden, the Jordan. And when Anaphel saw that his counsel was not followed, right, he saddled his donkey and went off to his own city. He set his house in order and hanged himself, and he died and was buried in the tomb of his father. Right, so you see how one can get taken over by spirits, following Satan and demons. Then you give counsel to commit fornication. You do all these things. Then you counsel, and the demon still got control of your mind, and you giving counsel to destroy and go destroy King David, right? And do all these things and get the son to hate the father, because they both have anger and hatred on the inside and falsehood. And then you have it make you hate your own mother and father, as Absalom did, and want to kill his own father. And then now you see NFL broken. He's broken. That's still the same thing as Shaby'ay and Kazab. He's broken. And you can see him still following spirits, and he hanged himself. Because that's what demons come to do. They come to destroy. Destruction. He's falling after demons to commit suicide. Because that's what he told Yahusha. He said, if you be the Ben of Elohim, jump off the mountain, and he'll get a Malachi charge over you. Because that's what demons do. That's what Satan do. When they get control of your mind, they have you doing other things as well. Don't see that no one leads you astray. Because he said, man, Nuwak prayed and said, please don't let the demons destroy my grandson, my grandchildren. They're leading them astray and destroying them, or you mean killing them. This is Matthew 27:1. It says, when the morning came, all the chief priests and the elders and the people took counsel against Yahusha. Oh, you mean NFL. Let's send 12,000 out to David. And we would kill him for one man. We'll destroy one man and bring all the Yashar to peace. Because, everybody going after him. They came to put him to death. That's what they did. That's what NFL did. Who do you think this is? The chief priests and the elders and the people took counsel against Yahusha, the word of Yahuwah, to put it to death. Why do they want to kill the word of Yahuwah? Because they hate the light. They hate the light that was from the beginning. Every imagination and thought is evil continually. Their purpose is to kill. He said, he said, if you have anger and falsehood, you hate your mother and your father. Who's the mother and father? Or Yahushua Mashiach? Yahuwah? He's the mother and father. Yahuwah is the mother and father of Yahushua Mashiach. And guess what happens? You hate the father, you hate the son. You hate the son, you hate the father. You want to put the son to death, you put the father to death. So you hate your mother and your father. It says, and they bound him and led him away and delivered him over to Pilate, the governor. Then Judas, his betrayer, saw Yahusha was condemned, and he changed his mind. Yeah, what happens? And he brought back the 30 pieces of silver, and the chief priest and the elders, saying, I have sinned by betraying your innocent blood. And when NFL saw that his counsel was not followed, when you follow after spirits and demons, like Judas did or Yehuda did right here, what happens? He says, saying, I have sinned, betraying innocent blood. They said, what is that to us? See to it yourself. And throwing down the pieces of silver in the temple, he departed, and he went and hanged himself. Why? Because when you follow after spirits and demons, that's what they do. They destroy you. Because he just betrayed the very word of Yahuwah. He just destroyed it. He conspired to put him to death. The Father. Oh, you mean the Son? No, he is the Father. He's the Father and the Son. Because I and my Father are one. It says, but the chief priest, taking the pieces of silver, said, it is not lawful to put them in the treasury, since it is blood money. So they took counsel and brought with them the potter's field and the burying place of the strangers. Therefore the field has been called the field of blood to this day. Oh, you mean field of blood? Oh, you mean Adama? Adama. Then was fulfilled that was spoken by the Nabi Yirmiyahu, saying, They took the 30 pieces of silver and the price of him on whom a price had been set by some of the sons of Yasharal, and they gave them to the potter's field, as the master directed him. What was Yirmiyahu's main Naba when he went to those people? Yirmiyahu chapter 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, right? They have chapters, but in the book of Yirmiyahu. Every man, from the least to the greatest, from the Kahan, the priest, were all greedy of unjust gain. And what is one of the spirit of anger and falsehood? He said, if it's a just man, you ain't going to recognize him. Ain't no unjust gain in my hand, as Eyub said, as we spoke about before. So this is Aleph Shamuel, Bis Shamuel, 7 and 4. Then all the elders of Yasharal gathered together and came to Shamuel at Ramah, and said to him, Behold, you are old, and your sons are not walking your ways. Now appoint for us a king to judge. We need Absalom. We need a king. We need somebody to judge. Like all the nations, like the Goyim. You know, like Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Or you mean Japheth and Cush. Or Japheth and Ham's lineage. We need to be like them. A bunch of magicians and sorcerers, right? He says, but the thing displeased Shamuel when they said, give us a king to judge us. So it didn't displease them when Absalom made king to judge Malak. It didn't displease all Yasharal when he sent secret messages. It didn't displease them. But he said, man, it displeased him, right? So what happened? And then Shamuel prayed to Yahuwah. That's the only thing you can do. And Yahuwah said to Shamuel, obey the voice of the people and all that they say to you, for they have not rejected you, but they have rejected me from being king over them. Absalom, the father of peace, Yahuwah himself. And Yahuwah saw that, caused the council of Anethel to fall so he could bring harm to Absalom. Why? To take him down. To take him down. Because Yahushua was manifested to destroy the works of Absalom. Oh, you mean Satan? Because he was impersonating the father of peace that judges. Because he himself had falsehood and anger on the inside. And he was even hating his own father and wanted to kill him. And try to make himself something he not. And it says, according to all the deeds that they have done, for the day that I brought them out of the land out of Mizraim, even to this day, forsaking me and serving other gods. They say, Absalom, he said, you like the Malach of Yahuwah. He knew all things. No, he don't. But he says what? He said, they forsaken me. They that forsake Yahuwah. They forsook Yahuwah and the righteous. What happens? He said, you're miserable. You despise wisdom and nurture. Your wives fools and your children wicked. And your offspring cursed. He said, they forsook me and serve other gods. He says, so they are also doing to you. Now then, obey their voice. Only you shall solemnly warn them. Today is the day of warning. And show them the ways of the king who shall reign over them. You've seen what Absalom did. There's a king, Yasharal, but yet he goes sleeping with a bunch of women in a tent that all people can see and fall in the counsel of Satan and demons. He ain't the only king that did that. He ain't the only Malak that did that. But Yahushua was manifested to destroy the works of Satan. The liar. Yeshayahu 53:1. Who has believed what he has heard from us? And whom has the arm of Yahuwah been revealed? For he grew up before him like a young plant, and like a root out of the dry ground. And he had no form or majesty that we should look at him, and no beauty that we should desire him. He was despised and rejected by men, just like his father was. Just like his father was. And man of sorrows, acquainted with grief. When David ascended up the mountain, what did he do? And the people with him, he covered his head and walked barefoot. And the people walked barefoot with him, and they were weeping as they went. It says, as one of whom will hide their faces, he was despised, and we esteemed him not. They didn't even esteem him as the Malak. We have no king. Caesar is our king. They have not rejected you, rejected me from being Malak, king over them. Behold your king, Malakah. Surely he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. I come to destroy the works of Satan. He said the fear of Yahuwah is joy and gladness and a merry heart. He carried that stuff. He destroyed that. Because that stuff brings you into a point where you get He says, yet we esteemed him stricken, smitten of Yahuwah, and afflicted. But he was pierced for our transgressions, and he was crushed for our iniquities. Upon him was the chastisement that brought us shalom. You mean he had to be afflicted to destroy the works of the father, the one that claimed Absalom to bring the peace, when in actuality, he was making war with his father. Because remember, that's one of the things of the spirit of falsehood and anger. It takes over the whole mind and causes war. He said, I come to destroy that. He says, and by his wounds, we are healed. Healed from what? See that no one leads you astray. No demons and spirits. Because that's what they're here for. Going to the close at the end. But here we go. It says, Luke 22 and 24. A dispute arose among them as to which of them was to be regarded as the greatest. Isn't that what Absalom? Man, I wish I was a judge in Ashy'ry. Man, I wish I was somebody. Isn't that what he was doing? He's a king in Ashy'ry. Which one the greatest? Me or David? David or my father? Which one the greatest? Me or the judges or the priests? Or those people? Or the Kahan or Anaphel? Who's the greatest? And he said to them, the kings, they have not rejected you. They rejected me from being king over them. The kings of the Goyim exercise lordship over them, as those in authority over them are called benefactors. That's what they do. They do that. That's what Absalom desired. He wanted to be the judge. He wanted to be over people. He wanted to have that. He wanted to have that power. He wanted to be that person, right? He wanted to be that individual, that person that's over everybody. He say, what did Yahushua say? What the king said? What the real person? What the real king? I am my father, I warn you, Yahushua Mashiach said. But not so with you. Not with you. Don't do that. Rather, let the greatest among you be as the youngest, and the leader as one who serves. Let him become humble. Let him become, because remember, the greater thou art, the more humble you become. For Yahuwah reveals mysteries to the meek, not somebody who desires to be somebody. He reveals mysteries to the meek. Absalom. So for who is the greater? The one who reclines at the table or the one who serves? Is it not the one who reclines at the table? Yeah, you're the greater. But I'm among you as one who serves. So the one who's getting all the food and getting fed and all these things, he's like, man, you know what? You are greater. He said, you know what? Be as one who serves. Why? Because then you won't have no demons lead you astray to think that you actually are the king or the malak. Let me guess, you somebody now. Nah, just be like me. Be as one who serves. And I'll distinguish all the demons like a spark. This is Luke 19:28. And when he had said these things, he went on ahead, going up to Jerusalem. And when he drew near to Bethphage, to Bethany, at the Mount of Olives, you know where David ascended up, he sent two of his disciples, saying, go to the village in front of you. It says, where are entering, you will find a colt tied, or a donkey tied, a colt, on which no one has ever sat. It says, untie it and bring it here. So it didn't have no hunch in the back. I don't know if you've ever seen a donkey that a whole bunch of people sat on. It got a little U in it. It's got a little U in it because a lot of people sat in it. You see a camel that's been ridden, been rolled to death, and it got a little U in it. It says, untie it and bring it here. If anyone asks you, why are you untying it? You shall say to this, the Adon, the master, has need of it. So those who were sent went away and found it just as he had told. Well, just as he had told them. Isn't that what Shaby'ay was famous for? He said everything he says is just like he said. He said they haven't rejected you, Shaby'ay. They rejected me from being king over you. over them. And as they were untying the coat, its owner said to them, "Why are you untying the coat?" And they said, "The Adon, the master, has need of it." And they brought it to Yahusha. And throwing their cloaks on the coat, they said Yahusha, set Yahusha on it. And as he rode along, they spread their cloaks on the road, and he was drawing near, already on the way down the Mount of Olives. Because isn't that where David was, Daud? The real king of Yasharal, right? He was on the mountain weeping. He was a man of sorrows, acquainted with grief, right? He was ascending up the mountain. He gave gifts to the men, right? All these things, right? And he said he on the Mount of Olives where Yahuwah was worshipped, right? Not Absalom was worshipped, where Yahuwah was worshipped. Because Yahuwah is the father of peace, not Absalom. He was an imposter. All that came before me were thieves and robbers. Now Yahusha's on the scene, and he's showing everybody a thief and a robber. And guess what happens? You stole my glory, my kabod. And here we go. The whole multitude and his disciples began to rejoice and praise Yahuwah with a loud voice for all the mighty works that they had seen, saying, "Baraka is the king, the Malak, who comes in the name of Yahuwah. Shalom in Shamayim and kabod in the highest." Shalom in the Shamayims and in the highest Shamayim. That's what he said, the highest. Shalom in the Shamayim and in the highest Shamayim. It says, and some of the Pharisees in the crowd said to him, "Teacher, rebuke your disciples." Because you know when your Pharisees and the Sadducees, the Zadokim and the priests and the elders hear that, they're like, "What you trying to do? Put this person under our feet? Put us under him?" Because he just said, "Kabod in the highest Shamayim," which is above them. Because they want to be the fathers of peace. They want to be the priests and the rulers. They want to be the person to actually say that they are that. But in actuality, he's like, no. Let what you heard in the beginning abide in you. And if what you've heard in the beginning abides in you, then you are in the Father and you in the Son. Because there's only one Father and Son. And it says, he answered, "I tell you, if these were silent, the very stones would cry out." Why would the stones cry out? Just like children. He said, what created the stones and the precious jewels and all these things? Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. It says that when he drew near and saw the city, he wept over it, because he was a man acquainted with grief. Why is he weeping over the city? Saying, what that you, even you, had known on this day the things that make for shalom. What is the thing that make peace? But now they are hidden from your eyes. For the days will come upon you when your enemies will set a barricade around you and surround you and hem you in on every side and tear you down to the ground. You and your children within you, and they will not leave one stone upon another in you, because you did not know the time of your visitation. Ignorance is the most expensive thing, because you ain't know. He said ignorance is evil, because they didn't know. Because if you don't know, then what happens? You get destroyed. You get taken. The demons will surround you on every side. Ignorance. Ignorance. So what's the number? He said love. The first principle, love. So Romans 1:18. For the wrath of Yahuwah is revealed from Shamayim against all unrighteousness of men, who by their righteousness suppress the truth. Why? Because it suppresses the actual knowledge of Yahushua Mashiach. It suppresses the truth, the bar. Because it darkens the mind. Anger, falsehood, lying, shakir, untruths suppress the truth. Untruth suppress the truth. For what can be known about Yahuwah is plain to them, because Yahuwah has shown it to them. For his invisible attributes, namely the eternal power of divine nature, has been clearly perceived ever since the creation of the world. Let what you heard in the beginning abide in you. He said, I'm the Father of peace. The Son is the Father of peace. The Father of peace is the Son. Yahuwah and his Ben Yahusha. So he was manifested to destroy the works of Satan. So you no longer worship an image and likeness of another man. It says, for what can be known about Yahuwah is plain to them, because Yahuwah has shown it to them. For his invisible attributes, namely his eternal power and divine nature, has been clearly perceived ever since the creation of the world, in the things that have been made. You can go outside and you can see it. Take your shoe off, cover your head, and walk up a mountain. You'll feel the ground in your feet. You'll feel the wind blowing against you when you get to the higher mountains. When the wind blows against you, you'll feel it. You'll see it. You'll see it for yourself. Then when you get to the top of the mountain, you'll be like, who is the king of Kabod? Yahuwah, strong and mighty. Yahuwah, mighty in battle. You be like David. But let's see. So they were without excuse. For although they knew Yahuwah, they did not honor him as Elohim. They did not honor him as Elohim. Or give thanks to him. You know who they gave thanks to? They gave homage to? Absalom. That's just one part. That's just one of many stories. But they became futile in their thinking. Every thought and imagination was evil, it became worthless, and their foolish hearts were darkened through transgression, claiming to be wise. They became fools. Bring the Absalom, bring Anaphel's counsel to foolishness. In exchange the kabod of the immortal Yahuwah Elohim for images resembling mortal man. Humans. Human beings, man. You mean the man that he can see every thought and imagination. Surely he know your thoughts and your imagination. He's 10,000 times brighter than the sun. He says, mortal man, birds, animals, and creeping things. They start worshiping these things. You start worshiping. This is Acts 2:29. It says, brothers, I may say to you with confidence about the patriarch David, that both he has died and was buried, and his tomb is with us to this day. David is dead. Daud is dead. Being therefore a Nabi, and knowing that Yahuwah had sworn with an oath to him that he would set one of his descendants on his throne, he foresaw and spoke about the resurrection of Mashiach. And he was not abandoned in Hades, nor did his flesh see corruption. This Yahuwah raised up, and of that we are all witnesses. Being therefore exalted at the right hand of Yahuwah, and having received from the Father the promise of the Kadush Ruach, he has poured out this that you yourselves are seeing and hearing. For Daud did not ascend into the Shamayim, but he himself says, Yahuwah said to my master, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies your footstool. So who is David's master? Who is his head? Who is the head? Let all the house of Yasharal know that for certain that Yahuwah has made him both Adon, master, and Mashiach, and the anointed. This Yahusha whom you crucified, I will have you know. That the head is Mashiach, and the one who rules over Yahusha Mashiach is Yahuwah. I will have you know. The Father is the Son, and the Son is the Father of peace. Acts 13:36. For Daud, after he had served his purpose of Yahuwah, in his own generation fell asleep and was laid with his fathers and saw corruption. But he whom Yahuwah raised up did not see corruption. Let it be known to you, therefore, brothers, that through this man forgiveness of sins is proclaimed to you. Not to hang yourself on the gallows, not to kill yourself, but forgiveness of sins. See that no one leads you astray, or no demon. It says, and by him everyone who believes is freed from everything from which you could not be freed by the law of Moshe. The law of Moses could not free you from no demons. The law of Moses could not free you from those spirits that have been here since Bereshit. The law of Moses couldn't do that. There's only one person who could free you from demons and the spirits. Because he's the master of spirits, as Enoch wrote. Beware, therefore, lest what is said in the Nabiim should come about. Look, you scoffers, be astounding and perish. For I am doing a work in your days, a work you will not believe, even if one tells it to you. I'm telling it to you. Habakkuk, right? Habakkuk, right? What did he say? Though one tells you. Habakkuk. He said, don't let that come to pass to you. I'm telling it to you. This is the Nazarene Acts of Shalakim, demons incite idolatry. There is another error of the demons, which they suggest to the senses of men that they should think that those things that they suffer for the such as are called Allahim, in order that thereby offering Zabaim or gifts as if to perpetuate them, that they may strengthen the worship of a false religion to avoid us who are interested in their salvation, that they may be freed from error, the error of demons. That's what ignorance comes to do. Ignorant, when you no longer ignorant, it destroys errors, as we wrote about. This truth must be eagerly sought after. But this they do, as I have said, not knowing that these things are suggested to them by demons, for fear they should be saved. It is therefore in the power of everyone, since man had been possessed of free will, whether he will hear us to life or the demons to destruction. He said, everything I put in Adam's hand, he said, it's in their power to do. But being that the demons led them astray and they became adulterers and sinners. He said, who can fight against an invisible Ruach? Satan. What is pitiful man going to do? I can do all things with Mashiach who strengthens me, right? It says, and to some, the demons appearing visibly under various figures sometimes throw out threats. Let's get 12,000 men and pursue David into the wilderness and throw him into a panic. Sometimes promise relief from suffering, that they may instill into those whom they deceive the opinion of their being Allahim, and that it may be known that they are demons, to do these things in the present world. How it is allowed them to transform themselves into what figure they please, and to suggest evil thoughts, and convey themselves by means of meats and drinks, and consecrated to them in the midst of in the minds or bodies of those who partake of it. He made everything good and very good. He made them in his own image, and let them have authority to visit sea fowls of every creepy thing over all the earth and every herb yielding seed for food. He given everything. He said, man, I give you everything. Everything is in your power to do. It's in your ability to apprehend it. Guess what it says? It says, means of meat and drink to consecrate to them in the minds or bodies of those who partake of it, and to concoct vain dreams to further the worship of some idol. There's a king in Yahshua, but Yahushua was manifested to destroy the works of Satan. To return the heart of the children to the fathers and the heart of the fathers to the children. because the children were cursed. This is Nazarene, Acts of the Apostles, chapter 17, the Basur, the good news, your power over demons, right? You see then how important it is to acknowledge Yahuwah and to observance of divine obedience. It's important, which not only protects those who believe from the assaults of demons, but also gives them command over those who rule over others. And therefore it is necessary for you who are of the Goyim nations, because you know that Goyim exercise lordship over people, and they do these things that Yahshua so desires to do. And Israel and all these people, the tribes and all these, they desire, right? But he said not so with you though, because you only have one. You have one Kahan, one priest, one Kahan, one shepherd. You have one emergent, one Amunah. You have one Yahuwah. You don't have all these rulers. You only have one. It says, therefore, it is necessary for you of the Goyim nation to betake yourselves to Yahuwah and to keep yourselves from all uncleanness, that the demons may be expelled and Yahuwah may dwell in you. And at the same time, by prayers, commit yourselves to Yahuwah and call for his aid against impudence of demons, for whatever things you ask, believing you will receive. That's what Nuach did. And he prayed for his sons. And that's what men and women need to do for themselves and for their children. Right? It says, but even the demons themselves, in proportion as they see Amunah grow in man, that's what he needed. Amunah come by hearing by the word of Mashiach, not the word of what people think they actually doing it. You ain't doing nothing. You see, Amunah growing man, that the proportion they depart from him, residing only in the part in which something of infidelity still remains. People say, we got to get that infidelity out, right? What do you mean? But for those who believe with full Amunah, they depart without any delay. He said, love what? Believes all things. Do you believe all things? Do you believe the evil and the good? Do you believe all things, hope all things, endure all things? Do you believe it all? If not, then you have infidelity. And that demon going to come in that unbelief, that little part of unbelief, you're going to use that. It says, but for those who believe with full assurance of Amunah, they depart without any delay. For when a Ruach has come to Amunah of Yahuwah, it obtains the virtue of the heavenly water, by which it extinguishes the demon like a spark of fire. Because it is fire. It's like a spark. Isn't that something, right? The Testament of Zabulun says, you also, my children, have compassion toward every person, with mercy, in order that Yahuwah may be compassionate and merciful to you. In the last days, Yahuwah was in his compassion on the earth, and whenever he finds compassion and mercy, in that person he will dwell. To the extent that a man has compassion on his neighbor, right, has compassion on his neighbor, has compassion on his brother, has compassion on his sister, has compassion on his children, has compassion on his wife, has compassion on his husband, has compassion on people. To that extent, Yahuwah has mercy on him. For when he saw me, he was moved with compassion. Whomever you see, do not harbor resentment, my children. Love on another. This is the first principle. Love. And do not calculate the wrong done by each to his brother and sister. This shatters unity. Don't calculate it. And scatters all kinship. It makes you not want to be a family no more. And stirs up the soul. He who recalls evil receives neither compassion nor mercy. Right? You see how we can transgress this? Like, we don't think about these things. We transgress these things. Because the world, and through these religious beliefs and all these things and these demons, they make you do these things. Because that is the programming of the world. That is the programming of this realm. This is Colossians 3:5. Put to death, therefore, what is earthly in you: sexual immorality, fornication, absalom, impurity, passion, evil desire, NFL, covetousness, Absalom, which is idolatry, it's an idol. On account of these, the wrath of Yahuwah is coming. That's why he wanted to do, he said he brought the counsel of NFL to shame, to nothing, that he may do harm to Absalom. Because the wrath of Yahuwah was coming. In these you too once walked, when you were living in them, but now you must put them all away. Anger, wrath, malice, slander, obscene talk from your mouth. Do not lie one to another. See how you put off the old self with its practices, and put on a new self, which is being renewed in the knowledge after the image of its creator. You see this? Or you sleep. It says, here there is no Greek and Yehudi, circumcised and uncircumcised, barbarian, Scythian, slave, free. But Mashiach is all in all. Put on then as Yahuwah's chosen ones, Kadush and beloved and compassionate hearts. Because in whom he see compassion and mercy, that's who he going to dwell in. Kindness, humility, meekness, patience, bearing one another, and if anyone has a complaint against another, forgiving each other, as Yahuwah has forgiven you, you also must. You must forgive. Above all things, put on love. Why? Love is the first principle of the oracles of Yahuwah. Love. Hereby we know that he loved us, that he gave his only begotten Ben, the light, the word from the highest Shamayim, in the first day of creation. He sent it into the world, and it accomplished what he sent it to do. For unto us a child is born. For Yahuwah so loved the world that he gave his only Ben, because the world was in darkness. And he sent to love his son. That is the first principle of the oracles of Yahuwah. Ahab, Ahaba, Fikri, Amor, Ahambu, I. Love, which binds everything together in perfect harmony. You want to be perfect? He said, oh, you're not perfect. Only reason you ain't perfect is you ain't got no love in your heart. You ain't got no ahab in your heart. That's why you don't feel like, he said, I don't believe I'm perfect. Because you ain't got no love. Because that's how you keep perfect harmony. It's like a tuning on an instrument. And let the shalom, the peace of Mashiach, rule in your hearts. Let it rule in your mind. Let the peace of the shalom and Mashiach, Yahushua, rule in your mind, not demons and spirits. Don't let demons take over your mind. And let the shalom, peace of Mashiach, rule in your hearts, in your mind, which indeed you were called into one body. And be thankful. And let the word of Mashiach dwell in you richly, teaching and admonishing one another, warning one another in all wisdom. You got to be wise. You got to have wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. Singing psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs, things that make you think about your inward man, your inward thoughts, your inward being, transforming into love and compassion and mercy and compassion and love and forgiveness in your hearts to Yahuwah. You want to have that in your mind. And whatever you do, in word or deed, do everything in the name of the Adon Yahushua, giving thanks to Yahuwah, the Ab, through him. Giving thanks to Yahuwah, the Father, right? Do everything in the name of Yahushua, the Prince of Peace, the ruler of peace. Giving thanks to Yahuwah, the Abba, through him. So when the Father and the Prince of Peace and the Father join together, you get the Father of Peace. You get Absalom, the true Absalom. This is Nazarene Acts of the Shalakim, chapter 15. It says how the demons get power over men. So this is Nazarene Acts of the Shalakim. Therefore, demons, as we have just said, we just talked about it, when once they have been able, by means of opportunities afforded them to convey themselves through base and evil actions into the bodies of men, if they remain in them a long time through their own negligence, because they do not seek after what is profitable to their inner beings, your inner man, they necessarily compel them for the future to fulfill the desires of the demons who dwell in them. Today is a day of freedom, people. Today is a day that you will be free from these spirits. Guess what it says? But what is worst of all at the end of the age, because remember he said, when is the end of the age? They asked him, when is the end of the aeon? When is the consummation of everything? When that demon will be consigned to ageless fire of necessity, the Ruach also, the spirit also that obeyed him, will with him be tortured in ageless fire together with its body that it has polluted. People say, why you gotta get the demons out? He said, demons that try to destroy your body, demons, mute demons, all these demons, these devils, these are all spirits. Disability, all these things that people talk about, perfect health flourishes with wisdom and all understanding and come from learning gifts. These demons, if you got them in your body, just understand. They go into ageless fire. That means it's without end. Therefore, if you have those demons on the inside of you, you obeyed it, then guess what? You yourself will be just like them. Today is the day of freedom. Today is the day. Today. Right. So this is ODE Shaluma 7:18-28. As in the Most High shall be known in his Kodashim, to announce to those that have songs to the coming of Yahuwah. So if you got songs, if you can sing, open your mouth and speak. Open your mouth. Yahuwah gave a mouth to his creation, that they may go forth to meet him, and may sing to him with joy and with harps in many tones. Wow. Because the fear of Yahuwah is joy and gladness and a merry heart. It says, the seers shall come before him, and they shall be seen before him, and they shall praise Yahuwah for his love, his ahah, because he is near and he holdeth. And hatred shall be taken away from the earth. So if hatred is taken from the earth, and you got hatred in you, guess what? With that spirit of hatred, that demon going, you going too. It says, along with jealousy, it shall be drowned. Wow, because if you got jealousy and envy and all these things in your heart, then guess what? That demon and spirits, you going with it. Because he said he's going to send his Malachir to remove all those things that cause sin. Hatred and lying and Kazab and Shakir and jealousy and envy and insatiableness in the belly and fornication and adultery and all these things and arrogance and pride, unjust gain, all these things that we read about, the spirit of sleep, he going to get that stuff out. It says, they who make songs shall sing of the grace of the Khan of Yahuwah, the Most High. Isn't that what we got? We got another chance. We got Khan. We got another chance. He gave it to us. And they shall bring their songs, and their heart shall be like the day, like the dawn, like the day, like the sun that rises out of sixth portal. That's 7 times brighter than the moon, but Yahuwah is 10,000 times brighter than the sun, Shamash. And like the excellent beauty of Yahuwah, their pleasant songs. Why? So when we go back up to verse 23, it says, and verse 22 says, and hatred shall be taken from the earth, and along with jealousy it shall be drowned, for ignorance has been destroyed. Remember we read the first verse, one of the first slides? We talked about ignorance is evil. He said ignorance has been destroyed. How is ignorance destroyed? Wisdom and knowledge, understanding, illumination, higher vibrational frequency knowledge, to understanding of the truth, and the knowledge of who your king is, who your ruler, who the governor of you is, not a human being. Not some human with evil thoughts and every imagination and thought evil continuum. Yahushua Mashiach is the ruler. He is the head. He is the high Kahan, he's the priest, he's the shepherd. He's all of that. With this Father Yahuwah. It says, for ignorance has been destroyed. Why? Because now the demons have no power over you. Ignorance has been destroyed because the knowledge of Yahuwah has arrived. It's here. They who make songs shall sing of the Khan of Yahuwah, the Most High, Yahuwah. And they shall bring their songs, and their heart shall be like the day, and like the excellent beauty of Yahuwah, their pleasant songs. When Yahushua came out, when he was on the donkey coat, what did they say? Barak is he who cometh in the name of Yahuwah. Baruch haba b'shem Yahuwah. They were singing a pleasant song because the knowledge of Yahuwah has arrived. Yahushua himself. He has arrived. He arrived on the scene. And there shall neither be anything that breathes without knowledge, nor anything that is dumb or mute. Or he said mute demon. Because he gave a mouth to his creation in the beginning. Let what you've heard in the beginning abide in you. And if what you heard in the beginning abides in you, then you are in the Father and you are in the being. Open your mouth and speak. Sing. Love. That's the first principle of the oracles of Yahuwah. For he hath given a mouth to his creation. We just read that in the Aramaic Targums. Because, they took that out too. To open the voice of the mouth towards him to praise him, not Absalom. Give homage to him and he come and kiss you. No, we're not talking about him. We're giving praise to the one, the real Absalom, the real father of peace, Yahushua himself. All came before him with thieves and robbers. And all these shepherds and teachers and pastors and mores and all these people and all these things that people have done, because the ignorance has been destroyed, for the knowledge of Yahuwah has arrived. It's here now. He said, I'm going to put you all to shame. For love is the first principles of the oracles of Yahuwah. It says, for he hath given a mouth to his creation, and to open the voice of the mouth towards him to praise him. Confess ye his power. Confess his power. And show forth his his grace. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, right? So when we start looking at these spirits and these demons and all these shadim and jinn and all these other beings that ride on the higher vibrational frequency, if you're not riding on the wings of the wind, and if your thought process is not in the higher vibrational frequency, today is the day you can now receive the knowledge of the Ben Yahusha and know that he is the head. He is the king. He is the Malak. He is the shepherd. He is the Kahan. He is the High Kahan. Right? He is the light, the ore that shined in the beginning before the Shamash. He's the one that brings light to darkness. He's the one that gives. He's the first principles of the oracles of Yahuwah, which is ahab and love. Love for the creatures, love for the animals, love for the plants and the trees, love for each other, love for your family, love for your children, love for your husband, your wife, your sister, your brother, your mother, and your father. The first principles of the oracles of Yahuwah. For on the first day of creation, Ruach Marakach Al Panim. Yahuwah sent his only begotten Son into the world because he loved it. Because love is the first principle. And all the love that radiates inside of you, inside of your mind, to every man, woman, and child, that the love may overflow inside of your mind and your thoughts and distinguish the demons like a spark of fire, like the water of the inward man may extinguish in that spark of fire, and you may overflow to every person you meet, and to every person you may give drink, to somebody who's in need. You give drink to the animals, you give drink to your friends, you give drink to random people you meet, that you may overflow in your mind and that the water may cleanse someone else. Because it's not about how much knowledge one has. It's not about how much wisdom one has. It's not about how much one is filled. It's how much one can give, how much one can offer to someone else. Because we all need to be set free. We all need to be made free. And the only way you're going to be made free is that you shall know the truth. For the truth, the Amat, is the truth, is the pure language that distinguishes these spirits and these demons that take hold of man's mind and make him follow their lead. But through Yahushua Muhammad Shiach's blood that he shed for us, and he offered himself for us, it allows us to vibrate on that higher level in that mind, in our thoughts, that we can wage the warfare fairly, Because when ignorance is destroyed, now the playing field is now even. And now the battle can be won. The battle can be won. So who is the king? Who is the Malak? Yahuwah is the king and Malak. It has been Yahushua. His love manifested in life. And let it manifest in your life and in your heart and your mind. So be true, children of light. Be true in your life. Be true in your mind. Be true in your heart. Be true in this cycle that we live. Because this cycle that we live is only for a moment. It's only for a moment. But after this life and this moment is over, we travel to another higher state, an ascended state. And let your good deeds and things that you do, let it be done in righteousness, let it be done in purity, and let not your intentions be hidden, but let it be known. Let it be known. Let it be known. For the meek shall inherit the earth. The meek shall inherit the earth.